Good evening, ladies and gents, wherever you may be around the world. No, I can't do that. I've done it wrong. Boom attack, guys. Boom attack. What do I want to be doing? I want to be... Good evening, ladies and gents, wherever you may be around the world, and welcome to Splendid Isolation number 257. Sorry, guys, boom attack there from me as always. Didn't think I was going to have any guests for a minute there because I didn't have any 2 minutes ago. All right, as always, to give people time to join the stream, I'm going to start off with a tune.
Take up the white man's burden, send forth the best ye breed. Go bind your sons to exile, to serve your captives' need, to wait in heavy harness on flooded folk and wall. Your new gods sullen peoples have devil and have child. Take up the white man's burden, in patience to abide, to veil the threat of terror and check the show of pride. By open speech and simple, 100 times made plain, to seek another's profit and work another's gain. Take up the white man's burden, the savage wars of peace. Fill full the mouth of famine and bid the sickness cease. And when your goal is nearest, the end for the sword, what's love and heed and folly? Bring all your hopes to naught. Take up the white man's burden, no tawdry rule of kings, but toil of servant sweeper, the tale of common things. The ports ye shall not enter, the roads ye shall not tread. Go make them with your living and mark them with your dead. Take up the white man's burden and reap his old reward. The blame of those ye better, the hate of those ye guard. The cry of those ye humor are slowly towards the light. Why brought ye us from bondage, a loved Egyptian night? Take up the white man's burden, ye dare not stoop to less, nor call too loud on freedom to cloak your weariness. By all ye cry or whisper, by all ye leave or do, the silent, sullen people shall weigh your gods and you. Take up the white man's burden, have done with childish days, the lightly profit laurel, the easy ungrudged praise. Come down to search your manhood through all of thankless years. No age with give or wisdom, the judgment of your peers. Take off the white man's burden,
And that was Chris Gard. If you like really good music, go and check out Chris Gard's channel on YouTube. He's a real musician, and he also does modern stuff as well as traditional stuff like that. Okay. Oh, no, I've lost all my guests. Good. Don't know what happened there. I did have two guests and they're gone. God, I tell you. Don't know what's going on there, guys. Hopefully they will come back. I'm not sure what's happening. Well, here we go. That's a different guest. And good day, gentlemen. How are you going? We seem to have lost all reality. I'm not sure why. Hopefully she will come back.
Discord seems to StreamYard just threw me out for no particular reason, and I couldn't get on, and suddenly started working again.
Oh well, everyone seems to be back now. Okay, guys. Been a pretty busy week in British politics. I would say, I mean, you guys may have your own subjects, of course, but I would say the main things this week would be the Mandelson stuff and his involvement with Epstein. You know, he was basically, when the British government, the government under Brown and Blair were selling off British assets, Mandelson was telling his mate Epstein so that he could buy them up at cheap prices, he and his friends. Of course, we have Nigel Farage coming out with the utter bullshit that Epstein was some sort of Russian agent, when, you know, you don't have to be Brain of Britain to work out that he worked for a certain Middle Eastern country that has quite a lot of small hats in it.
Look, when he says, as you know, I represent the Rothschilds, that actually means Putin.
Yes, because the Rothschilds are Christian Orthodox, aren't they?
Yeah.
As everyone knows. Yes. Russian Orthodox, yes. So, yeah, I think that's a pretty important subject. Obviously, the other really important subject is Rupert Lowe and Restore Britain and their rape gang inquiry, which, if you've been following it on X, on Twitter, is more horrifying than people can possibly believe. And of course, the government has done nothing about their so-called inquiry into this, because many of the people implicated in terms of officials who were covering things up and what have you were Labour politicians, basically, at a local level at least.
I believe the government's one, like the last update on it was a few months ago, the last official update, and it was just like, yeah, we're still working on putting things together. So, yeah, nothing.
And I notice Farage and Reform, I would have thought, you know, for something as important as this, they would have put their differences with Rupert Lowe aside. But nope, not at all. They're not mentioning it. And of course, the wonderful British mainstream media, from the biased brainwashing corporation downwards, is simply not covering it at all. I think GB News have done a little bit on it, and that's about it, basically. So there's that. I also think another little subject which might be worth talking about is Andrew Bridgen published a letter a couple of days ago in which he accuses Starmer and many senior Labour politicians of outright government fraud and stealing taxpayers' money over the Chagos deal, which I found quite interesting. But anyway, that's just things that have struck me this week. You guys, of course, may have your own subjects, and we'll do ladies first or reality. Did you have a particular subject?
Oh, actually, can you guys do me last? Because I'm just getting in the house here.
No
I got to get settled. Sorry.
We will return.
Okay, thanks.
Harry, did you have a first subject?
Yes. So we had a new push from the government that came out this week. How to make the countryside less white. Wonderful. This is what we've all been waiting for. And so, we mentioned the person really that spearheaded it all, person behind this idea, was Danny Finkelstein's sister.
Interesting.
Yeah, like I think
Interesting name, that, isn't it?
yeah.
British name.
I think we're going to start.
I did
This is
see
good.
that, by the way. I did see, Farron, that one of the pushes with this is they want less dogs in the countryside.
They do
Now, I
indeed.
don't know. given
They're
the choice-
hateful people then. Horrible
Yeah, no,
people.
of course they are. But given the choice between dogs, and Britain is a traditional dog-loving country and always
Right.
has been. Given a choice between dogs and Muslims, I'll take dogs every single time.
Yeah.
It,
I take dogs over most people in general.
it,
So-
it makes you want to get one of those band breeds, like the American Bull XL or whatever it is, and sort of like,
Yeah. Yeah.
be really stubborn about it.
Yeah. So how this all started is new guidance from the government about increasing diversity, and it's a few regions are sort of starting it, and it starts with like simple stuff like trying to increase like tourism efforts towards the minorities, which whatever, at least that's not actively doing any harm. Is because and there's like I don't like it.
Farron, what are they going to do?
getting there.
Play more loud music
No,
in the car parks?
I'm getting there. I'm getting there because at least there's that's not doing any active changes. It's just inviting like all these people who don't really want to be there and aren't wanted there. But then they sort of, that's not really enough. We also need to have, more mosques in the countryside so they can pray, and more halal food in the countryside, and, less dogs so that they feel more welcome. And one of the good things about this is, like so many of these things, they normally just pass people by. This one seems to have actually gained some attention and some pushback from normal people going, hang on a second. Right, we like these things. Like, why do we have to change? So that is, people noticing is always good, and that's a challenge. Always a challenge to get the normies on board with this stuff. So this has not gone down well at all, and it's of course, it's not like the diversity care. They don't want to go into the countryside. There's nothing stopping them now. They just hate it. They find it boring. Unless they're on one of these big group, conquering activities just to, set up by some activist group, just to rub it in our faces. But this just made me angry. Just because it is just about removing us. Nothing else.
It's about Tharium like displacing the last place where there are quite a lot of British people.
Yeah.
So many people have left the towns and cities. Like my family were Londoners. Not one single one of them was living in London by the 90s. They'd all been pushed out. And we know the same things happened in the second biggest country in the country, Birmingham. It's happening in other towns and cities up and down the country. And the countryside is the last place where people can run to. So, of course, they want to destroy that too. Did you want me to put that picture up, Mercy?
It's a video where I was wondering, can I get your permission to play it?
Of course you can, as long as it's not going to get us copyright struck.
I think
because this is on topic. This is in the Peak District in Derbyshire, I think it is. I'll press play on it, and it's a place that I've been several times. So, and this is all the diversity around a place in Dovedale, I think it is, called the Stepping Stones, and a fight breaks out.
Looks lovely.
Yeah.
That's the sort of peace I want to see in the British countryside, certainly.
Yes, I mean, I feel like this is going to become more common and common.
Yeah.
I mean, it's already. I mean, I remember visiting there back in the 90s, and I wouldn't even go there now.
Wow.
The thing with like English people going to the countryside, it's normally you're rare to find a group more than 3 people. A family, 3 or 4 people. That's sort of or a family. That's there's small groups or individuals, whereas the diversity need packs, because that's just how they always work.
Yes.
Big pack of a couple of dozen, making noise, playing speakers. God, the one thing, portable speakers are so damn annoying. I just ban them all.
Yeah, so would I. But I mean, this is what I get the impression of is if, to make it more welcoming for, in air quotes, diversity. That's what they're going to do. They're going to play loud, crappy rap music. They're going to have cruel animal food that's slaughtered in a cruel manner, halal or kosher or whatever. They'll have that all over the place, which again, I would just ban halal and kosher because it should be against British animal welfare laws. Just should be.
And one of the things you said about your family moving out of London, I think it's like, for me, like my area is never like, it's people who've never really been exposed to diversity, mostly. But like in Epping, a lot of these people, this is a lot, Essex a lot of them would have come from London, forced out by diversity, and then so they fled it before, and then it finds them again. And there's sort of, I think why Epping was such a hotspot was because of this. They're realizing that, like, we tried running and you still come after us. There's no escape.
Yeah, exactly. Where else are you going to run to? If you can't go to the countryside, then, Britain is a relatively small island. It's not like the USA where there's areas of wilderness you can go to. You've only got so many places, and also you've got to be close enough to somewhere where you can work. Yep. So I mean that video that Mercian has put up there, to me, just that video is horrifying, and it would be horrifying even without the fight. Just how many people there are there, Yeah. I mean, you don't go to the countryside for crowds. You go to the countryside to get away from crowds, as far as I'm concerned, anyway. But, yeah. Well, good evening, William. We seem to have lost all reality again by the looks of it.
Hello, Iron Duke. Hello, guys. Yeah, I caught the beginning of just a brief beginning. Yeah, I've been to that. Is it in is that in Derbyshire?
Derbyshire.
Dovedale in Derbyshire, yeah.
Yeah, I've been there. Walked my black lab along there when there was.
That was very racist of you, taking a dog out in public.
Guess what my black lab was called? It was starts with an N.
Oh, sounds like something for the Dam Busters, William.
Oh yeah. I was on the Dales and I was yelling. I said, "You stupid nig!" and just splurting it out all over the place.
No dear. So you've I suppose that most people from the West Midlands and maybe places like I was going to say Staffordshire, but I'm actually thinking of Sheffield, and you got Sheffield, the West Midlands, Nottingham. That a lot of people visit there.
Well, do you know who because I mentioned this is that whole like making diversifying the country. Guess the person who was behind this initiative in the civil service.
I'll mention that.
Yeah,
Danny Finkelstein's sister.
Yeah, who could it be now? Da, 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 da.
We're even going to talk a bit about your excellent video earlier, William. William Grenville has an excellent video on his channel about the Epstein case and Mandelson, which I recommend to people. But we're going to talk a bit about that as well.
Yeah,
I was going to say to Mercian, that I know some people don't like Midlands and northern towns because they used to be a bit industrial in the middle. But one advantage that my friends have always told me who came from that part of the world is that most Midlands and northern towns do not have miles and miles of suburbs around them, so that it is relatively easy to get out into the countryside from them. I don't know if that's true, Mercy, but that's what many people from the North and the Midlands have told me.
I think it depends where you are. It's easy for me because I literally live in a suburb, but if you think,
I'm sure that's not true in like Manchester, for example, because Manchester's a big city. But in a lot of these former industrial towns, there's not like miles and miles and miles of suburbs around them. You know.
I wouldn't know because I stayed at Chatsworth House on holiday there. I met the local Duke and I as you can tell, I mean my grandfather's father was a factory owner in Stoke, so I don't deal with the working class. I'm not a friend. I'm
Quite right. Quite right.
I think it depends if we're talking about like these small like a town like Stoke or a town similar to that. If you're in a town like that, then that's true. If you happen to live in the West Midlands like me, it can take like an hour to travel 10 miles. You know, within the West Midlands.
I am joking. Of course, I am a friends with a working man, and he a lot of I was going to say very popular with his workers. Had a couple of there's a few streets named after the family in around Stoke, and a plaque as well. So yeah.
I was just sorry, Mercy, and you carry on, mate. I'll talk.
But while we're talking about travelling in some of these, if you consider the Midlands northern, point of contention against the West Midlanders, but
anything north of the Humber, is north.
Look, it's north of Watford. William, what are you talking about? Anything north of Watford is north.
Isn't that in Yorkshire? But what I mean is so where I live, it would take me like pretty much an hour to get into the centre of Birmingham from where I live. However, it also takes me an hour to get to Manchester. So once you get out of the West Midlands and you're on a good motorway, you can get places. It's an interesting quirk of the place, I think.
Yeah, no, very true. Richard Hughes, 885 in the chat, 8885 in the chat, said, let's buy all the castles in Britain and then we'll be safe. Well, Richard Hughes, I know that William Grenville, for example, is involved in the Pendragon project, and they want to buy British castles and give them modern uses. I don't know if you want to say a little bit about that, William.
Yeah, I mean, this is what we're working to. I mean, actually honest, I was just daydreaming today as you do out on the walk, and I was just thinking, should we just become like robber barons and just like take the castles by force, like because and I know it sounds a bit laughing, maybe it is laughing, maybe I'm just sort of becoming a bit of a fantasist in that regard, but I have a feeling that they would, if they're, because let's be honest, they're not going to play by these fuckers are not playing by the rules, any rules, to be absolutely honest. And I'm like,
I get it.
And like, I mean, I'm okay. Just before Nathan freaks out, I'm not going to organise a raid and storm a castle or anything in the name of Pendragon. But for the MI5 people listening, that's not going to happen. But what I would say is, we're going to be we're going to have these castles, or we're going to be part of people, and we're going to be unashamedly defending it. And if it means, people are going to be excluded from this, quite frankly, it serves them right. It serves them right. They are the ones who have fired the first shots. They drew first blood when it came to this, and now you sow the wind, you reap the whirlwind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I am.
William, in the chat, if you look in the private chat, Mercian put up a castle for sale for 750,000 quid. So you should look in the private.
I do. Chat. I always say, like, I don't really have expensive tastes in most things, in the standard things. Like, I don't care about fancy cars, fancy clothes, none of that. But I would like to live in a castle.
It's funny. The
Well,
castle.
Who wouldn't?
I mean, the castle. It's actually funny. The one at Chatsworth that I stayed at on, I think it was over like an Easter holiday. It wasn't actually in the house. It was in the hunting lodge, which is basically like a what you would say like a Georgian like reconstruction of like a like of a tower. And it's really funny because it is the most ridiculously, I mean, it's great, but the design of it is awful. The staircase is spiral, but it's even worse than medieval spiral stair. At least with medieval spiral ones, if you go to a cathedral or any castles, it's actually not that difficult to navigate. This one was bloody lethal. It really was. It was absolutely bloody lethal. And unfortunately there was a wee bit of a draft at the top of it, so all they did was give you extra blankets, and I mean, but it was a great experience nonetheless. And I found out that the previous people who stayed there before us were the newlyweds, William and Kate, Prince William and Kate. So yeah. And they didn't flush the toilet. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Don't say things like that, Mike. Please do not say things like that. I need to keep one or two illusions. Yeah, look, I totally agree with Tharium on this push to make the last white bit of Britain less white. I mean, that's deliberately being done. And you know, these people will say replacement theory is a conspiracy theory. Well, you know, I'm sorry, there is more than enough evidence now that it's
not. That French politician just coming out and saying it the other day.
Yeah.
we are the part of the great. Well, we can't say it.
The elites do not give a shit whether the people in countries like Britain or France are actually British and French. They don't care at all.
Well, Clement Attlee said it right back along. He wanted the white British race to end and everyone to become, and all the races of the world to sort of blend into one sort of multiracial unit.
Yeah. The horrible beige sameness covering the earth. That would be so great, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It would make travel worthless for a start, because what's the point of traveling if everywhere's the same? There's no point.
Well, it'd be like Brazil. Well, it would be like Brazil. It would be like some sort of weird hybrid version of Brazil.
Everywhere,
even in Brazil. Yeah,
and
everywhere.
Probably including the favelas as well. You know, the slums. It would probably include those too.
Well, even in Brazil, even with like this that sort of society, you had the self-correcting mechanisms where you still have some form of racial segregation in the sense of, you know, and I found this when I was dating a Brazilian girl many years ago, that there was actually, when it came to like sperm or egg like donations or what have you, you actually had like higher price tag on genetically white Europeans, and the lowest, like the cheapest one would be the Afro, you know, Brazilian
Caribbean,
type,
whatever.
Caribbean, yeah.
I was listening to some Brazilian guy quite a while ago now, William, and he was saying even in Brazil there is that kind of segregation that still goes on.
There's that old picture of that old Brazilian picture of the black grandmother with the whiter daughter, and then she's married an actual white guy, and now the grandchild is white, and the black grandmother is just, oh, praise Jesus, we've fixed the bloodline.
This was my problem with the Spanish and Portuguese Empire. I'm afraid it's I just can't get behind it. I mean, they had a good start, terrible ending. I mean, sorry. Anyway,
which country in South America was it where they sort of forced the European settlers and the indigenous to marry each other?
Was it like Mexico? It was like New Spain or something.
Like Mexico.
It was like
New Spain. Yeah,
one of these places. They just ordered that. You couldn't marry. Each group couldn't marry within their own race anymore.
Yeah,
And that's all.
there's,
That's just
state mandated
yeah,
big booty
yeah,
Latina.
yeah. We're gonna.
Steve in the chat is saying there's loads of racial hostility in Latin America. Yes, I know that's true. Woodpit points out it's true also in Asia, which of course it is. I mean, you can't find any Asian group that doesn't hate every other Asian group. It's just what it's like. You know, this is a natural way of humans being. We're tribal people. Barndor mentions India. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you know, they still kill each other in large numbers in India over differences in religion and what have you. It's the natural way of everything. But I mean, this idea that you should just make everyone beige, basically, which is one of the world's most boring colors, of course, and everywhere the same that you go. You know, it would make travel pointless. But of course, I do think that our elites want to stop ordinary people traveling anyway. I think that's half the thing with the green stuff. What part of that agenda is to stop ordinary people traveling, or at least severely limit how much they can. Of course, it won't stop them flying everywhere in their private jets, but all the rest of us, yes, it will. Tharium, this was your topic. Did you have any final thoughts on it before we move on to Mercy?
No, just I hate it.
Ditto, mate. Ditto. It's detestable. And as I say, given the choice between Muslims in the British countryside and British dogs, I'll take British dogs every single time, please. You know, Britain is a traditional dog-loving and indeed animal-loving country. Also, dogs are necessary in the countryside. There's many jobs for dogs in the countryside. You know, sheep dogs, gun dogs, all sorts of things.
Big fan of the border collie. I love a border collie. It's as soon as I'm able, I'm getting a border collie. Working dog, damn good dog.
Yeah, no, I've had a border collie when I first got married. We had a border collie. Yeah, very clever dogs. She used to like to. We used to walk along the River Thames, you know, in the countryside areas of the Thames, and if we came across a flock of geese, she would always try and round them up. So
ours would always round us up when there was a thunderstorm. She'd get like me and my mom and dad all in the same room if she could.
Yes,
pretty cute.
Yeah, no, Lassie was not a border collie. Lassie is it's a Scottish collie. I can't remember what they're called now, but a Scottish collie, different. Also clever though, and also sheepdogs.
Yeah, the dogs that you're talking about are the dogs from the movie Babe. If you guys have seen that, the two dogs in there, they're really cool dogs. Great movie, by the way, too.
Yeah, dogs are good. I like all dogs, to be honest, and a fair number of people.
Maybe these people, these hordes of people who go to the country, maybe there is a place for them. Maybe you know, we have trail hunts who can no longer do the trail, but they can always. No, never mind. But I was just thinking out loud.
So
I agree with Woodpit here. By the way, Jack Russells are very smart. They're the smartest terrier by a long way. Very clever.
Very modern dog as well. Very modern breed.
So my computer.
Jack Russells are also because the Kennel Club didn't accept them for a long time. They're one of the least inbred of dogs because the Kennel Club ignored them for a long time, which was good for the breed.
So I don't know if you guys talked about this or not, but because I was having technical issues here. But are they going to try to take people's dogs away, or are they trying to limit?
No, it's just
new dogs.
It's just
hang on, Terry. You say no. I'd say eventually.
That's scary.
I that would be
someone
tricky
before they could take my dog.
Well, the idea is that because they'll swamp us full of those people, it would people would naturally start to move. Because ultimately, what they want us to be like, like the dwarves of Erebor, nomadic and
Mhm.
wandering the land. There's also a group that had a similar level of history as well in real world. That's what they want. They want us. They want us to be destitute in our own country. That is the ultimate aim, and that's what this paper says. Thank you to Danny Finkelstein's sister, and the funny thing is that they wonder why people, chuck shit at them like Nick Fuentes and the other, and they make all these, Holocaust jokes, which you could say, the Holocaust jokes are in poor taste or what have you, but they wonder why people engage in that shit, Crime victim only lasts so long while you're pulling this shit, quite frankly. And to be honest, it's been 80 years.
William, contrast, right? Contrast. The British countryside is too white with the situation in Israel, where if you're one of the original settlers of Palestine, you get bombed and sniped, and your city's destroyed, and that's all right. That's all right. But the countryside in England is too white.
I mean, I will write a paper and I'll say the Holy Land is too Jewish, or something like that.
Yeah, maybe and see how long you lasted, mate. See how long you lasted before
exactly
from everywhere. Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe we should say, the countryside was promised to white people 3,000 years ago. So
yes, absolutely.
Justifies anything then.
Yeah.
With the dogs, I can see them doing the nudge propaganda stuff. They're like,
that's what they're starting. And I mean, I've seen other stuff about too many dogs in England before. Yeah. And it's inconceivable that native British people would do this, because Britain is an enormous dog-loving nation.
You'll start to see advertisements and TV shows and stuff where dogs will be depicted as dangerous and scary, like scary, dangerous dogs. Even dogs which are like Labrador, because I've noticed, I see this clip going around of like this dog that was possessed. It's like a film. This dog is like possessed or something, and then it kills like the couple of children or something like that. It's really like.
Oh, is that Stephen King one?
It's total crap anyway.
I never watched that movie. I don't watch anything.
That's it.
I watched it and I rooted for the dog the whole time.
I just don't watch anti-dog films. I'm sorry.
No, but you're gonna see more stuff like that. And the thing is, Britain is we are a dog-loving nation. But the thing is, and this is the thing, a lot of the generations that will come are not going to be British. They're going to be people who are not non-Brits. And the decline of the pub is not just like the taxes and everything. The decline of the pub also is, the people who like don't go to the pub, the people who don't engage in these sorts of things. And it's obvious because if you go to any British pub today, even if you're in an area where there's a high foreign population, you go to a pub and it will still be like 100% white British people in there of local descent or what have you. And the same will be for dog owners in those areas as well.
Even in like these London like ghettos that still have one surviving pub, it'll all be white people there, even though they're a tiny minority of the actual area.
Yeah.
Well, many of these people from the subcontinent, etc., simply don't use pubs anyway, for various reasons. But yeah, I don't know. I think we should certainly resist this as much as we possibly can. Mercian, did you have a first topic for us this evening?
I kind of do, yeah. I was inspired because I saw a YouTube video today. Tharium already knows this, and I do agree with Tharium's point, but I'm gonna go back to my original point of and basically the video talked about. Are you all familiar with the new town of Poundbury, King Charles's little project? Yeah. Well, the argument these YouTubers had was they didn't like it because it was all fake. and they would have preferred all the modern buildings rather than these prestige buildings. And
So they're brain dead simpletons. I understand. Yeah.
yes. I mean, I agree with some of their points, like and some of these buildings in Poundbury that they have painted on pillars or columns. And if you want to do pillars or columns, actually do pillars or columns. I think that was more cost cutting. But my overall point with it was, can't we just have nice buildings? Why have we got to have these modern monstrosities? And why is Poundbury such a bad place? I know Tharium has a good point on this. I do agree with his point, but hopefully you all get my point of view on this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I should say then. My point is, it's certainly better than Milton Keynes, but there is something that feels off about it. I think it's just a mix of, because it's trying to be something old, but it's all centrally planned and the streets are way too big for what it's trying to be, because it's all made for, I've got to get good access with my big Land Rover, and all our cities and towns were all pre-car. So it sort of just feels a bit off like that. And then it is something that maybe it will get better with age when it actually gets old. But it currently looks, like I said, it looks very film setty. It just looks a bit off. Something
largely inspired by Bath. If the city of Bath, if you ever go to it. Now, of course, with Bath, it began as a Roman colonna settlement. Yeah. It then was, then became an Anglo-Saxon. So that you have to assume during these time periods there would have been, fires and destructions, and then changes in area. But you have layers of Roman, Saxon, Middle Ages, and then Georgian period. And so there is and it's really funny. You could go to certain places and you can see now this is if I go to the Roman baths and I go down these flights of stairs, there's the Roman bit, there's the Saxon bit, there's the medieval, and you can actually see the history of it. And as you said, there is a continuation, and the streets are narrow because it goes along the old Roman grid system, but then it changes because there was this building was repurposed by the church in the 12th century, or something like that. You're right, there's history to it. And then I think the problem in Poundbury is it's like building a Georgian settlement today, but for as you said, modern vehicles and stuff. It's kind of like if you go, I noticed I think it was John Dee during Deeper Store talked about the grid. Oh no, it was Pharaoh. Sorry, talked about grid systems. And if you go to any American town or city, of course that is designed entirely for a lot of the cars, and also then wagons and stuff, but mainly cars. And so it's entirely built up on a grid system.
For me though, it's. I mean, Theron raised a good point with me. There's should we be building all these new towns?
Yeah.
And the answer is no. However, we will need to build new buildings from time to time. Do we have to build them like modern monstrosities, or could we have traditional architecture with modern materials? The way I would put it is, it's sort of like painting a painting in a Renaissance style with modern plastic paints. Is that such a bad thing?
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason for brutalism. And then the other point I had was all the old towns and stuff, they're all built with local stone. So there's something about it that just fits. It's actually also built from the local area, which you can't really do anymore. And I think Poundbury suffers from that a bit compared to Bath, which is all stone from the area. But all these quarries are shut down now.
Yeah. You are limited. It's just I didn't like the way these two were complaining about the architecture mainly. I mean, I get some of their points they're making. There is something very film setty about it. I think. I mean, the paints on pillars upset me. It's like, if you're gonna do it, do it.
And the fake bricked in windows.
Like
this wasn't. Yeah. They didn't want to do this. This was just, that's just, I don't know, a quirk of bad policy.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not hard to make buildings that actually look nicer. It's not hugely more expensive.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I think this is my point. It's like,
yeah.
why can't we have nice things?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I would say, guys, just look at the lovely 1930s houses that you get in suburbs around London and some other places, mostly, it has to be said, in the southeast, and maybe a bit in the southwest. But in the 1930s, they were still building really nice houses, like often semi-detached houses, so like only attached on one side. I remember one of my grandparents had one of those in Bromley, believe it or not, which used to be a leafy suburb when I was a little boy. A leafy green and very white suburb, and I always liked going there because she had quite a big garden. And being a little boy, I wanted to play in the garden, because it had trees in it and stuff. They were still building really nice houses just before World War II. And then after World War II, they basically just stopped.
It's like the Tudor style houses, the more modern Tudor style houses. Some people hate it. I do get it because it's clearly fake, but I can at least appreciate that an effort has been made to make something that looks a bit nicer.
I think that's my point. It's sort of like, it's point for, the whole Pembury thing is points for a concept and effort, just badly done. I think.
Yeah.
I can't stand all these buildings that you see that are just like super modern in traditional neighborhoods, and I'm just like, what? I think these architects are trying to like be groundbreaking or something, but it just looks horrible.
Glass and concrete. Yeah.
Right. And if they could take the time and make these like beautiful works of art, the woodwork, back then with the capabilities we have now, how come that
this is my thing with architecture, is anything that was done in the past could easily be done today. It's just it's less efficient, so people don't want to do it, and that's such a shame. Whereas in the past, it wasn't about efficiency, it was about just doing stuff because it was good.
There was an appreciation for beauty.
I think one problem is that architecture is considered, in some respects, to be art, and I think that's to its disadvantage in the modern era, because, of course, modern architects only want to do modern stuff, and I'm sorry, modern stuff is invariably ugly.
Well, on the point of what you just said, Andrew, you're right, it is considered an art form, and the reason why, the reason why you could look at like the Georgian period, which is a lot of buildings that we have in England, like sort of the more aesthetically pleasing buildings of sort of in the cities, or Victorian or Gothic or what have you, is that it draws on a lot of the past. You have the columns, for example, well, that's obviously Roman, Greco-Roman, and that's drawing on the European canon. But the problem is, after World War II, particularly after World War II, is that it is actually a revolt against European identity, because it's fundamentally it's a revolt against European identity, and they view it as an evil, ill. It destroyed Europe. It's what caused the war and what have you. And so all of that. That's why it's kind of like it's like a Bolshevik revolution. It's like year zero. It's like that in the art world, and it's like that in the architecture world. That's why they do all this ridiculous, brutalist, and utter shit buildings. I mean, look at the Scottish Parliament. It's like I put a comment on it. I took a picture of it and uploaded it on Twitter. Sorry, the other day, and it's like a prison and it has like bamboo bars on its windows. It's like, what's that meant to mean?
I can't get over Holyrood, because Edinburgh. I love the way Scott explained Edinburgh. It's the most beautiful city in the world if you keep your head held high.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good one.
I like
Yeah,
that.
you've also got the new town and the old town in Edinburgh, but even the new town is fine. I mean, it's Georgian, it's nice.
Computer assisted design is also an absolute plague on architecture,
Mhm.
because now it's all about perfect lines, perfect angles. It's taken the natural sort of feel of architecture away.
I presume Barn Door 21 means George Rennie Mackintosh, brilliant Scottish architect from the early 20th century who was still designing beautiful buildings. One of his most famous is the Glasgow School of Art, I believe. Really nice. I actually know a bit about George Rennie Mackintosh just because a Scottish girlfriend of mine was into his work. So, yeah.
The 60s and 70s were so just detrimental in so many ways. But I mean, to architecture, we got feminism and civil rights movement. I mean, it was just, what the hell?
This is
someone was saying earlier that land values are much higher today, hence the smaller plots. But I mean, that's also happening in Australia for the same reason. And like in Australia, the ideal used to be that if you were a family, you wanted a quarter-acre block in the suburbs, yeah. And that gave you, your house and also a reasonably big garden, a big enough garden for a couple of boys to play cricket or footy or whatever the hell they wanted to do in it, Nowadays, what they do is people who bought these quarter-acre blocks are now subdividing them into two and putting up another house, which means you have no garden left, basically. Which I think is a great shame, and particularly in Australia, where we actually have the weather to enjoy your garden. It's like it's just crazy.
I do remember Morgoth once doing a video in defense of brutalism, and I got to say, not a good take. That he's like saying it's mankind just imposing his will on the world. It's hideous, though, mate. It's really hideous.
Yeah, I hate it. And to be fair to Morgoth, I know he doesn't like the brutalist blocks of flats that they put up in the 60s and 70s for working class people to move into. He doesn't like those, and I know he doesn't. So,
what's that brutalist bunch of flats in London that they
is it the Barbican?
I don't know. They put it all over artwork. It was in the Gorillas video and everything, and it just appears a lot of left-wing artwork, like it's a good thing. But I mean, going back to sort of the architecture pre-war, I think that's an example of how materialistically wealthy we were before the war and how relatively wealthy we were before the war, because we would put all these embellishments onto our buildings, whereas now it's all about, I think it's more about cost and efficiency, if I'm honest. I don't think we're as wealthy as we were back then.
It's an attitude now of it's good enough. Whereas in the past they could have just kept it simple. It's a lamppost. It works. What more do you need? But no, they had just the attitude of, no, it should be more. It should be something beautiful.
I think it's a time thing too, that everybody's trying to just be so efficient time-wise. Everybody's like, that you go so fast with your pace in life. And back then I think there was an appreciation for taking your time and, making something that you could be proud of. I mean, how many people do you see that are really proud, doing their job in a proud way, that they really care about customer service, right?
Yeah, it was for the glory. I mean, when you hear, when you read letters, and I mean, we did a history stream, Aubrey, on the French Indian Wars and everything, and we talk about Captain Cook and that sort of time period. I mean, this is a bit before, but you get that sense. It's like for the glory of Britain. For the glory of God and the glory of Britain and that sort of mentality. And that was true for everyone, in Europe and the newly formed United States. It was about for the glory of that. And if you say that now, in any sort of context to your fellow countrymen, they think you're just weird and just mad.
Yeah.
100%. I would say one thing, though, guys. When we get remigration, and I think we will eventually. When we get remigration, house prices are going to start to fall, and that they will become more affordable for young couples who are trying to start families and this kind of stuff.
And the boomers dying.
Yeah, as the boomers die, that will help too. But I think it's a case of you've got to get rid of the millions of unwanted economic migrants who are in Britain. And that's going to happen. We're going to get remigration. That's an idea whose time is going to come. And when it comes, house prices are slowly going to fall. And that's going to help everybody. And Britain is an overcrowded island, if we're talking about specifically Britain, but it is an overcrowded island. And if you get rid of these people who are not wanted in the country, there's no reason for them to be in the country. They can go home and help build their own countries up, if they do anything. And house prices will come down. And remigration, as far as I'm concerned, is inevitable. I don't give a shit what Nigel Farage says.
You're even seeing some of like the big finance people sort of suggesting that, yeah, we've kind of lost this. It's going to happen.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, this stuff is going to happen. I'm quite convinced on it. Steve Laws is right about this. I like Steve Laws. I basically think what he says is correct. Would I go quite as far as him? Maybe not, but I would go almost as far as him. Like 96%, I agree with him. I probably wouldn't chuck out people like Ben Habib or David Curtin, because I think they've proved they're half British and they've proven they're pro-British. Those guys I wouldn't chuck out, but there aren't many people like them. There's not.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, if it's a binary between Steve Laws and what we've had in the past, it's such an easy decision, isn't it?
100%. And Steve Laws is keeping it simple. And as he always says himself, you aim for Mars and hope you're going to reach the moon. So, but yeah, I think remigration is going to happen. I don't think it will necessarily happen very quickly, but it's going to happen. And if I was one of these economic migrants in Britain, I'd be making plans personally to buzz off back home. But that would just be me.
Right, and I think that's all we've got to say on that then, Iron Duke, if you want to move it on.
Okay, William, did you have a first topic for this evening, mate?
I have actually, and this is something that I've seen been sort of talked about, and this actually comes from sort of like a back and forth with different people on the right on this question. So this is a tweet that I saw, and this is about how people interpret, say, Lord of the Rings, and this was something that has always piqued my interest. I was going to do a video on this. I might still, but so this is the tweet. The fatal error of most strains of Christian nationalism occurs when we look at the way the world wields power, so i.e. through domination and coercion. And instead of rejecting it, we envy it. We believe we can accomplish God's ends through the world's means. We want the ring. And so it's kind of like this, and I've seen like few people, there's one chap, I think it won the Wittans, debated Nathan on this, saying, Frodo and the others and the Fellowship should have taken the ring and used it. Now, this is a kind of, I would say, and because what they're doing is they're applying this sort of to like real world stuff here. I mean, first of all, we'll just talk about the Lord of the Rings stuff. It comes down to, it's not your power to wield. Like, okay, Gollum had the ring for decades and decades. Where's his great empire? Where's his great unifying empire and armies? Well, he didn't have it because that wasn't his purpose. It's not your empire. It's not your power. And I think what you have is, and they're trying to apply this to real life, and I've seen this play out where you have people say, well, if we ally with, like, and take Tommy Robinson, for example. Well, if we ally with this group, it means that we can have this. It's like, no. They don't want you. They want power and domination,
Yeah.
which is
You
what
see-
the ring is.
You see Nick Griffin, his like recent thing, trying to buddy up with the Muslims, hoping that they'll spare him when they take over. It's so pathetic.
Yeah, it comes down to that. I mean, there is like even that, which, you know, it was bizarre because at the end of the day, you're trying to find power in objects, in other things. You have Tommy Robinson who's trying to find power in Zionists over there in Israel.
Yeah.
You have Griffin and others trying to find that power in the more extreme elements of Muslims in this country, which again, I would say, and there's some statistics to show that actually Muslims are becoming quite, liberal. They actually that they will the whole like outbreeding stuff. I don't know how true that is, quite frankly, because as time goes on, they're having fewer and fewer children because their children are getting more corrupted. And actually, there's a self-migration process for some saying, well, we want to return to the Middle East because our children are becoming too westernized. But that's a separate thing. But what you have here is you're having like this very, and you see Nick Fuentes. That's my biggest criticism. Nick Fuentes is like, he says he didn't like Lord of the Rings because he saw the films, didn't read the book, but so what? He doesn't like it because it's in any sort of real sense, we just take the power. But the thing though is, like Tommy Robinson, he has this misguided view. Well, if we side with these people, that will give us power, and that doesn't. It makes you a slave. There's a fine line between power and slavery.
Yeah,
being a master and being a serf.
Yeah, a lot of people see the ring as power. It's not. The ring is evil. It's not power.
A form. It's a slave. It's a slave. What's quite funny is, and this is the twisted nature of Sauron in the story, is he understands that man, particularly man, but all the other races as well in Middle-earth, actually don't know what power is, because power comes from control. I mean, if you want to get to the heart of what is like masculinity or what have you, I mean, at the end of the day, it's just control. It's control over, and not over others, but over oneself and one's emotions and what have you. And Sauron, in this sense, he perverts what power means, because power, is designed for him, but he knows that the hearts of men want power, but actually it's slavery. It's what they get is slavery. And it's like, you could say like the sort of NATO types that cheer on what's gone on in Ukraine and Russia, or what's gone on with Iran and Israel, and they're cheering on and go, yes, great stuff, American, or NATO power or British power, America. But at the end of the day, it's not for your benefit. It's not for your country's glory. It's for someone else. I mean, and it's that same slave mentality that goes on, and I see that in this tweet, and the people responding to it as well, thinking, well, actually, no, we're the ones, we can be the ones in control. No, you're not.
Have you seen that recent Tim Pool clip where he's going, "I'm not licking the boot, I am the boot." Oh, come on, Tim.
Yes, that sort of meant that is the sort of thought behind all this, and I mean, it's not. I mean, it's not just like your Groypers seem to have that, and so do quite a few people on the right, and I think they don't understand actually what power means, and power means control, and it also means, and this is the unfortunate thing, is, and we say it on this show a lot, but no one's coming to save us. I mean, at the end of the day, there is not going to be this great right-wing savior. Power, if there has to be power, it has to be from within ourselves, projecting outwards. Because, and as Bowden would say, one day, while people in the country at large, the masses, will not like what we have to say or our message, or might find it unpleasant, there will come a time where they'll have to turn to us to, for the future.
I can see. You can see a lot of people. They might not like it, but they will just turn away, look the other way. when stuff happens. Yeah.
Because they'll know deep down in their hearts, and most people, even the most like left-wing people know deep down the effects of immigration and what's going on and the horrors of it. They won't want to say it because they won't want to be they'd even hate themselves for having those thoughts, but deep down they know. They know.
When you're talking about Fuentes, I mean, Fuentes recently has been saying that Jeffrey Epstein is cool. He's even selling like Jeffrey Epstein clothing on his website. And this guy is on the right. Give me a break. I'm sorry. I mean, even if the Catboy boyfriend he used to go shopping with isn't bad enough to put you off Fuentes, but surely supporting Jeffrey Epstein and saying Jeffrey Epstein was cool, and with all that entails about Mossad and Israel, etc. That should make it clear to people that Fuentes is a con job. He's a con job.
If you notice, and this is the thing, is while he does have, he's in the past, he's had some interesting, takes and what have you on certain things, and if you notice, I'd also look at people like Milo and everything. Whenever there is big events or big stories, there tends to be like Epstein this week.
William, let's not forget Fuentes on the same plane with Milo and that black rapper dude. Do you remember? Wasn't that long ago?
Kanye West. Yeah, not that long ago.
Kanye West, Milo, Fuentes, all in it together. And I wouldn't trust all of that lot as far as I could throw the little finger in my left hand.
Well, this the thing is, if you remember, this week when you had the whole Epstein dump release, you also had that story of that trad wife. I don't know. I think it was Sarah Stock's the name or whatever. And you had cheating, and you had all this. And Milo was at the center of this because he was like putting out the text and everything. It is rather convenient that he did all that. He had all this information, and he did it when exactly the same day when the Epstein files dumped. And look, there are people, particularly people who are on the very publicly anti-Semitic right, who post a lot of that, and usually a lot of it is just crap. Like stop on that point of view. But they also will create drama when big, important stories get dropped as a way of distracting in people's attention. And if you note, I mean, like that particular one, you have commentators who would be talking about the Epstein files instead of talking about Sarah Stock and like her cheating, and then like her having her wedding or her marriage blessed by the Pope or something. Oh, isn't this a big story? And I've noticed this a few times. This hasn't just happened once. This has happened on multiple occasions with Milo. I mean, quite frankly, Milo. I mean, I don't know why people would be friends with Milo. He seems to be a total regime guy. He's a total regime appointed guy who is there to sow discontent. I mean, forget the homo bit, the homosexuality bits, which it's neither here nor there, but he every time he creates drama when big stuff happens that affects the right. And I find I do not trust him. I mean, he is like I mean, all I can say is I would not even be in this same building as him, quite frankly.
I do think it's the two main sort of angles you're seeing from some people about the Epstein stuff is Russia, or like the Nick Fuentes stuff is, oh, this guy had aura and all this crap. And either of those two groups, they can't be trusted ever if this is their sort of takeaway from this and what they're trying to tell people to think.
Yeah, I don't disagree with anything you're saying there, Farim. Mercian or Reality, did you have anything you wanted to say about William's point?
Nothing you haven't already talked about.
I'd like to also point out that with the ring, you have a counter in Aragorn, because the ring is all about subjugation, and whereas Aragorn has everyone to follow him through his virtue, he doesn't need to force it. People choose to.
Yeah. I mean, the ultimate problem with particularly this sort of group of people agreeing is, and then the people have raised it in the replies, is, well, you've only just watched the films. Like in the films, Aragorn is reluctant to gain power
Yeah,
and everything else. In the book, he wasn't. He was just biding his time, and he when he took to the field, he had like the flag of Numenor and everything. He was visibly there saying,
Yeah.
"No, I am the Return of the King. Yeah, I am here." And everything. So this idea that he was like running from power, or they were all, no, of course not. That's absolutely bloody ridiculous.
Yeah.
Pick up a book, fucking hell, people. And but yeah. I mean, the reason why Peter Jackson did that, probably thought,
It's more of an arc. Yeah.
Yeah, it's an arc. You got. I mean, Arwen.
Right. It's a character development,
character. I mean, like the love story between him and Arwen isn't really talked about that much in the book, but then it's like what they do in the film is they make their relationship more like relevant to the Beren and Luthien sort of story. They sort of include aspects of that into it, which I think Peter Jackson said in interviews that he purposely did that because he wanted it to, again, that be part of that general Aragorn arc in the second film. But
I would have liked for them to develop that a little bit further in the movie. I felt like that was just kind of I almost felt like she was kind of a secondary character.
Arwen gets a lot more coverage in the films than she does in the books.
Really?
That's the problem. Yeah. I mean, who was it who? Because in the film, she's the one that takes Frodo after he gets stabbed by.
That was Glorfindel in the books.
Glorfindel in the books, yeah. Who makes like no appearance really. I mean, him and sort of Tom Bombadil are like sort of absent from that.
I can get why, because Glorfindel is incredibly powerful, and
he's one of the oldest elves, isn't he? He's one of the oldest elves in Middle Earth as well. So,
and he came back to life, and sort of he was returned to life, and sort of even more powerful. So you can sort of like, I get it. Like people like will go, well, why isn't this guy in the Fellowship? Which is a question that people have asked. So I get why you wouldn't want to really involve him from like a movie point of view. But yeah.
Okay, guys, we've gone just over an hour, and we've still got Aubrey to do her bit. And because she's a woman, I mean, we should leave her half the show. That was a joke, by the way, guys.
I know, yeah. Thank you.
It was just a joke. I would like to do a bit of channel admin. Guys, if you want to support the channel, please hit the like button. It really does help on YouTube. It helps with the algorithm. I see Mitch is in the chat. Mitch, you're welcome to join the show if you want to. But also, if you want to help the channel, you can send us a donation. You can do so via Entropy, which is pinned at the top of the chat. And you can also use that to ask Super Chat questions for the panel, which we will answer at the end of the stream. And I notice we've got a couple already, so we'll address those later on. Thank you for those, gents, but we will, I'll read them out towards the end of the stream anyway. Sorry, and before anyone thinks I'm not a gentleman, why am I doing Aubrey last? I was going to do her first, but she wasn't ready for her question.
I requested last place, please.
She did. She asked to go last, so I'm not being not a gentleman. Aubrey, did you have a first topic for this evening?
Yeah, so I do. Actually, I was on, and you guys might hear Domino quacking a little bit in the background, so my apologies. But I was watching.
Domino is a parrot, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know.
Correct. And this is her quacking time of the evening as she's settling down. So she sounds like a little duck. But anyway, I was on Twitter, and this short video. Okay. Sorry. Hold on. Sorry, guys. I'm going out of the room. Okay. She's locked out now. Okay, sorry. So as I said, as she's winding down, and then she goes over to the window and sees a dog walking by.
She heard you talking about her.
Yeah, she did. So we're gonna go in the room with the budgies, who are much quieter. But anyway, I was on Twitter, and there was this video of a minister. Shoot, my phone has my notes on it. It's in the other room too by her. But sorry guys, let me just grab it real quick. I'm so sorry. I should mute the mic, but okay, shh. Okay, go on. Okay, sorry. I got her out of here. Okay. So anyway, this it was this Presbyterian minister that was speaking, and I'm not a big fan of women being ministers anyway, but that's just my personal opinion on that. But hold on, let me pull up my notes here. So she starts out by saying that we should uphold, or let's see, hold on, I'm so sorry, you guys. Okay, she says, if Jesus was here today, he might have said, "Blessed are those who end their pregnancies." And I was like,
okay,
what the heck is that all about? So of course, I click it.
Wouldn't he have regarded that as murder?
Well, so here's I don't really try to get into the abortion debate often with people, but I felt like so compelled to say something about this. So I wrote something up to send to some of my friends and family. And I said that, I can't imagine a more repulsive sermon. Basically, yeah. I'm saying, like, I don't want to speak for Jesus, but I don't think he would stand there holding the hands of these women that are choosing to end the lives of babies. And essentially my whole thing is that, babies are the result of an action that a person chooses to take. If a drunk driver hits somebody and kills them, he's going to go to prison because of his consequences of his actions, right? Which we kind of like to skip over consequences these days.
I always love it when couples go, "Oh, how did this happen?" when they get pregnant.
Well, it's like, how do you know? And we've got so many options available for birth control these days and you can get it for free. So, like, use that. Why don't people focus on using the protection, and then we don't even have to have this debate about abortion, right? Yeah, you take care of that, but people don't want to talk about that. But so she goes on then to say that she should women that end their pregnancies should be held up as righteous unto the Lord. And I thought that was very sick. And then she says, I do have 2 children, and I did have 2 abortions. And I was like, oh, wow. So you have a personal reason to want to eliminate guilt. And it just bothered me so much. And I thought, this is a woman that people look up to. Think about like a 14-year-old girl that's in the audience, listening to this, right? If you were her father, wouldn't you be sickened by that? That's not the message you want these little girls to hear. Yeah. So anyway,
there's a big difference between like accepting that, some abortions will happen and for whatever reason, and then celebrating it.
Right. That's like trying to make it sound righteous.
Or like in the cases, like some girl's uncle rapes her on something. Yeah. All right. We get it. This is a horrible situation.
Right.
We wish it never happened. It's not a celebration of it though.
Right, of course. But that's what the left does too, is that they'll take those extreme examples, which I don't think anybody is saying, a 13-year-old girl raped by her father should carry a pregnancy and have terrible PTSD that's going to ruin her life. I don't think anybody's saying that. But
there's a handful of nutters.
Guys, I've never heard an anti-abortion person, even the most Catholic of Roman Catholics, I've never heard an anti-abortion person use that argument against abortion. Never.
There are a handful of nutters, but they are nutters. They are the exception, but they sort of tend to get their voices amplified so that everyone's like that.
That's what the left does. And they say, like, oh, you want women to show up at hospitals and to be turned away. and they die, and that's not true. Any hospital is going to treat you. They're going to triage you and treat you.
Oh,
They have to by law.
And there's also a difference with the if it's an atopic pregnancy, that is going to kill the mother.
Right. Totally
That's not-
different ball
That's
game.
not treated like an abortion. That's
No.
this is different. This is
Yeah.
both are going to die. You have no choice really there.
Right. I mean, that's a decision that's made. But those are the circumstances they throw out there, right?
Yeah.
To always try
Very
to
rare.
deflect anybody from talking about the
Yeah.
real situation at hand. And I thought, like, this woman is standing up here preaching from the pulpit, saying that like abortion will be sanctioned by Jesus. And I just thought, that is like a wolf in sheep's clothing right there. I mean, our very first commandment is thou shalt not kill. So especially like the most vulnerable of our population, I almost feel like it's like a form of cannibalism in a way. There's this taboo, like people in basically countries everywhere and even tribes, whatever, there are rare circumstances, right, where cannibalism is a thing. Most people, it's abhorrent to think about that. But I feel like this is almost like you're creating this life and then you're just like consuming it in a way. It's just kind of a sick thing. And I don't know. I just feel like we need to protect these babies.
Growing up, abortion was something I never really thought of. It never had sort of the same cultural sort of stuff it does in America. But so I never really thought about it. But then I was talking to a girl once and she said she was going to go out, get really smashed and go out clubbing. And she said, and if I get pregnant, I'll just have the thing sucked out.
Yeah. Fucking hell. Sorry.
Yeah, and something about that, it just, that cold callousness, that was really when I started sort of, I don't know, that like sort of made me start thinking like,
Right.
It just felt wrong. It just, in my gut, that just was like, oh, that's.
I mean, it's like
horrible.
throwing something away. Like, oh, I don't need this handbag anymore. I'm gonna just toss it. Like, are you kidding?
Yeah.
I mean, this is, and I'm not one of those that says that like you can't do the morning after pill or something like that. I think that's fine with me. I don't like, and especially when they get into the later term abortions, I think that's very sick.
Well,
and
New York, I know New York was one of this. A few states have passed that abortion up until birth, haven't they?
Right.
And New York, I think the rates in New York are 50% of pregnancies are aborted.
Oh my god!
That's so, which is,
and it's worth pointing out, Fariam, that a baby these days is pretty much viable from 7.5 months.
More.
They almost all survive. They almost all survive.
Yeah. And I, the thing I always say, and again, I usually try to stay out of these conversations with people because the left just wants to bait you into it, and you're not going to get anywhere with them. So, but the one thing I always say is, I don't know if you guys remember the Scott Peterson case where he killed his wife Lacey, who was 8 months pregnant with their son Connor.
Oh, I think I remember hearing
right.
That, yeah.
It was all over the news. And he got 2 life sentences, which I believe is what he should have gotten. So we had like the Justice Department, seeking justice in the name of this little baby Connor. So why though is his life protected and worth something?
Not if a woman does it. Not if a woman does it.
And Duke, you and I have talked about this before about the father not even having a say in this, and I think he should be able to as well.
Yeah, absolutely right. I've had 2 women in my life have had abortions that I didn't want them to have, and I had no choice. I had no say in it. I argued until I was blue in the face with both these women.
It's like
ultimately my view did not count for anything, even though I was the father.
It's like if we could take it, if we could, if the father could do it, I'm sure plenty would, but
yeah,
that's
you
not just reality.
And I'm sorry, like women, have you not thought, like, I don't want a baby living in a home where they're unwanted and they're going to be treated terribly. But, then let's educate a little bit more and get the system better for adoption. There are so many people in America that are, we're going internationally to like adopt babies left and right. Like, let's work on that here, because you just don't hear often about kids being adopted that are like American kids. I mean, I'm sure they are, but you see the babies from China and from all these other countries, and it's just.
I did know an American guy once who was a teacher, and he was doing the foster care stuff. And he once it came up the end of his foster care for this lad was coming up. And he was going, "Oh, it's a real shame. We're all really upset that we're gonna have to give him back." And I was just thinking, well, why don't you adopt him?
Right.
If you like this kid so much, why don't you adopt him? No.
Right. Right. It's just a terrible situation. And I just think a minister standing up there telling people like, yeah, not only is it okay for you to have an abortion, but Jesus would stand there holding your hand and cheering you up and saying, "Blessed are you, the righteous woman."
Well, it's against scripture, as I understand it, straight away. So how can that be a minister?
Right. Right. I don't know.
I mean, the other part of the
feminist communist, Martin. Feminist communist first, and minister very much second.
Exactly. I think maybe ministers should actually read the scripture and understand it on some form. But
I mean, the trouble is, Mercy, they can't understand the Tharium. They can't understand like the basic concept of like ancient Israelites and the current Israel people today. So
that shit.
I mean, the other part of abortion that I've been liking coming from Sargon is the link between the amount of abortions that happen in the West and immigration. That's linked.
Some people talk about birth control. Well, we're having millions of abortions every year.
Yeah. And I know a girl who has 3 kids, but she's had 4 abortions. I'm sorry, 4? Really? You couldn't figure it out? And how do you look at those children that you have, and don't you think about the children that you killed? Like, isn't that
you probably just go, "Look, I've killed them before, so you lot had better behave."
Right. I mean, and what do your kids think? Like, "Oh shoot, mom killed my 3 other siblings." I mean, it's just creepy and gross, and yeah,
I mean,
say that.
Apart from the religious and all that aspect, I think it shows one of the things that I've always, and this is something I've always found about it, isn't I'm going to take away the case of incest, rape, and all that, because that fortunately that is a very, very minority case for a lot of this. It's a minority, and the trouble is the leftist argument is this is their favorite thing is they like to pick out the most like outlandish case and everything as like the pin-up example to win an argument. I hate it. Destiny does it, and all that blonde-haired little twat does it. I would say on a lot of this, and that's something I've always thought, is it shows an irresponsible and behavior, because at the end of the day, we have, as you said, if you want to engage in sex, you have plenty of preventive measures if you don't want to, for a man, if you don't want to get a woman pregnant, and vice versa, if you don't want to get pregnant. So I've never understood how it's been such a contentious problem. I mean, especially in the United States, as I say, beyond those particular cases that are the sort of, thankfully, the rarities, which I do hold sympathy to, and I would say, in those extreme cases, I would understand. I mean, whether you like it or not, I would understand. I wouldn't condemn the woman for that, and there are, because I know a lot of the sort of religious types that will try and spin this, is they'll say, well, look at when they brought that woman who was accused of adultery to the temple, And the Pharisees said, you sort of tried to goad Jesus into saying, okay, well, what would you do with her? She's been and she's been accused of adultery, and in the law of, the law at the time, Old Testament, she should be stoned to death. And of course Jesus turned around and said, the famous, well, who is without sin could cast the first stone. And the point in that is, if you look at all the people, they are all repentant. The thing though is, so from like a pure religious thing, those people who are repentant are the ones who are saved. So who are genuinely, not just genuinely sorry, but also repentant and put their faith in Jesus and God. That's why Judas, who took part in miracles, but then betrayed Jesus and everything, he was sorry of it, because of course he hung himself, but he wasn't repentant in that way. Now Peter, on the other hand, was, because he denied Christ several times, and then he was present. He then was present during the crucifixion and was repentant. And I think it is on a pure like religious thing, it is a twisting of Christianity, because at the end of the day, Christ would is only ever with you when you're repentant. Anything else is just heresy. And that's not just my words. That is, if you read any of the apostles or Paul, any of the church fathers, people who actually studied under the apostles, who knew Jesus, that is all what they say.
Right. Like you can't go out and just kill a bunch of people and then say, oh, sorry, and then go and do it again. Oh, sorry.
No,
you have to, God knows your heart. And
that's what the Reddit people say. It's like, oh, so if I go out and just kill, million people and everything, then say I'm sorry afterwards. Well, no, because number one, you're not repentant, and number two, you've already predetermined that I'm going to ask for forgiveness before I actually commit the sin, and that is. That's kind of
in that argument are just extreme, right?
Well, yeah, because that is that's when Jesus goes completely mad at the Pharisees, that's what they do, because they say, oh yes, you have sin, but don't worry, you can purchase these trinkets and then you can everything's forgotten. And that's why he goes absolutely bloody ballistic in the temple and chucks all the moneylenders out. That's basically well, yeah. And Constantine the Great did it. He did. That's true. I mean, this is the thing. They did, but that's the problem is, and Bowden talks about that. That it's very impossible for anyone to be a true Christian. Most people are pagan-minded. They live in the moment. They are violent. They can be, very, very determined and what have you. But for someone who is purely Christian, it's a rarity, because you actually have to go against basic human nature to behave like that, and it's very few.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I'm a Christian, and it's not. I'm definitely not without sin. I try my best, but that's the thing that you can't. Religion is twisted so often to work for somebody else's, whatever they're seeking, whether it's greed or whatever. It's so twisted, and it's so disgusting to me, because when it comes down to it, my view and the way I was taught is that you follow the commandments and you live the best life that you can, and that God is there to help guide you. You have free will, which is an amazing gift, but that that there's hope there, right? There's an option for redemption, but you have to really feel it. I mean, God knows this, and it's about intention, and it's about consequences, and having to actually do if you're going to commit the sin, there's going to be a bit of a cost. And that's the thing. These little children, these little babies, I mean, I don't know. It gets complicated though, because do you want kids living in terrible situations? The mom that has 5 kids already living in the ghetto. I don't know. I don't know the answer.
I
To
mean,
all.
I mean, also, the church, and this is where you come down to the. I'm not going to get a religious debate about the actual true church, but if you go down to like the earliest churches, so like the church in Jerusalem, Antioch, and so on, their units, and there's plenty of records about them, that they did operate largely as house churches. They weren't actually churches. They operated out people's homes. They were intermixed with the synagogues, and there was obviously a split, and I think in the 2nd century between the two, like a definitive split. But there was the word patriarchy, for example, which is one of the words it's been the buzzword for the left for the last 10 plus years now. And that
the
thing
rest.
and the rest comes from those forms of community, because there was a structure, there was a rigorous structure. I mean, it wasn't, it maybe this is a thing of Americanisms, but it wasn't like this modern post-liberal individualistic type of religion and everything, which is what a lot of Protestant denominations now make it out to be. There was a hierarchy to it, and also it isn't inclusive. It's very exclusive, because if you don't believe in the resurrection and the absolute truth that the only way to heaven is through Christ, and that Jesus Christ is Lord, then there is no redemption for you. That is the fundamental truth. If you're a Christian, you have to believe in that, because it's either his
William,
way.
I've got my doubts that the Archbishop of Canterbury, who is of course a woman, I have my doubts she's even a Christian, quite frankly.
No,
No,
I mean, they're all atheists, though, aren't you? You're right. They are all atheists, and even if they aren't, they all behave as atheists do anyway, because they don't really have any sort of transcendental belief, or there is a.
Sorry, do you think with these kind of people, these atheistic ministers, or should we dub them as? Do you think they're just getting a job within the mission for an easy time of life?
Well, a lot of it is like power, prestige. It's prestige as well. If you're a bishop, you can sit in the the House of Lords and what have you. They get appointed by parties and government, the Archbishop. So there is that sort of political thing. I mean, I would say there have been several like councils and stuff where when the Church of England opened it up and became liberal, that's when you see and this is something quite interesting, since Vatican II as well, you have increase in abuse. You have increase in a lot of the horrible stuff that goes on. And what it has done is that sort of extreme, the actual religiosity is rooted out, and then you have all the the degenerates and all the worst aspects of people in society flood into the church, because you have no standard, you have no code, you have no mission in Christ. I mean, I even though a lot of the Catholic people on Twitter, even like some of our friends, while they'll say, "Oh, look at this crazy Protestant church in Minnesota or something," I mean, the Catholic churches know better. No. They are no better. They the Pope today publicly took a photo with someone who was a homosexual minister who promoted homosexuality or something. So the Catholic Church is no better, and also they have this bizarre belief where they state that, well, all religions are somewhat equal to each other. I mean, that's from the Catholic Church, for God's sake, and that's from from Vatican II.
William, I think it's worth pointing out. Someone in the chat a while ago now pointed out that the same people who push abortion also push euthanasia.
Right.
And these are also the same people who push mass third world immigration.
Yeah.
You know,
Now,
so
someone,
they want you. They want you to kill your babies if you're a actual British person, say. They want you to kill your babies. They want you to kill your old people. Although, also, I think people are not realizing that this euthanasia story that is increasingly coming in, it's not just about old people. They want depressed younger people to kill themselves. And this is not evil. I'm sorry, it is. It's evil.
Yeah, and the funny thing is actually because on the new atheist movement, people like Dawkins and all the other types, as it has been revealed in the Epstein files, is it kind of looks like Epstein was behind the new atheist movement, believe it or not. You know, the movement that defanged Christianity and forced a lot of made some of the true Christians in these churches and institutions appear like absolute lunatics, and misquoted them and everything. Turns out Epstein was behind it. I'm not even joking. It is in the files.
Why would he do that? How strange. We may never know.
Well, Gates of Toledo. Gates of Toledo.
Did he push it on the goyim, as he often used to describe people, which, by the way, means cattle and is an insult?
Yeah. I mean, look, the Code of Theodosius, as I get older, the Code of Theodosius, which I thought was unreasonably harsh, actually, I can understand. It's funny, as you get older and you think and you see all this stuff, you just look at like these old medieval and like papal codes and papal bulls, and you're like, oh, I understand why they did it now. Yeah, I understand now. Yeah, they were right to do that, 100%.
I did think of one other thing. You mentioned sorry, Aubrey. Elijah Schaefer and that woman who
Sarah Stockton or whatever it is. Yeah.
Of course, these were the opposite. These were like always trying to bash everyone, go, oh, you know, Jesus that, and pretending like they're just living as absolute saints. All bullshit, though, of course. You know, they're just screwing around and all this nonsense, going to the cocaine parties after all these conservative conferences. Like,
I mean, if you want the true Christian response to that, I mean, I would say to myself, at the end of the day, yeah, what they're doing is bad and they shouldn't be using Christ. But I would say, and someone said, and if someone said, okay, Mr. William Grenville, are you any better? And if from a Christian point of view, I'd have to say, well, no, because I sin as well. So I can't judge, because there's only one person who can be the true judge. But at the same time, it doesn't mean we can't have standards, and you can definitely call out people who, and this is the problem with Christianity, particularly on the right, is it really is, a lot of it isn't not just a LARP, they just fucking lie. A lot of them just lie. I mean, Milo, for example, who supposedly is like this Catholic convert, from you can guess which religion. Again, doesn't even live up to his own standards, and that's why the church fathers, then they said, there was one instance, I can't remember, I think it was Saint Christopherson or something like that. He actually said how you had this one guy, this Christian, who was wailing in public, screaming and shouting of how much of devoted he was, and he was like a relatively recent convert, and he was condemning everybody as like these wicked people for not following, and he got quite chastised for it, because it was like, just because you're screaming at the top of your voice doesn't make you like the most pious, That's just basically just, he called him saying that's just basically a LARP. At the end of the day.
Mercian, did you have anything you wanted to say about this topic?
Well, I was going to touch on William Grenville's point about the leftists and about the grape issue. And I was thinking, isn't it funny with the left that grape is the most important issue in the world, except when the wrong person does it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, look at Epstein. I mean, look at Epstein and his pals. I mean, that's they won't talk about the grooming gangs in northern England, and they won't talk about the international Israeli-backed grooming gangs worldwide. So there you go.
That's precisely my point. But I mean, they're even twisting the Epstein thing. That's sort of like the leftists are currently putting out. This was done by billionaires, not by Muslims, immigrants, etc. And it's sort of like,
well, Melanie Phillips, who is like the board of the British Zionist, whatever it is, did a video. I talked about it in my video today. I released and she said, "Oh, Epstein. This is a reflection on the West. Men in the West need to look in the mirror."
William, please look at the comment I'm putting up on the screen now because it affects your channel.
Oh.
Hey, also, I'm trying to post the link to this in case anybody wants to see it.
Yeah, no,
the video.
I can't put links up, or reality that I don't know what they are, because
I was going to say let me just have a look at that because I may have pressed the wrong drop down button.
Yeah, I thought you should just check on that, William, because that could get your channel in trouble if you're not careful.
Yeah.
Well, I would welcome people to go ahead and check it out for themselves because
one
of those things. I get it.
Reality. Let me explain to you. If I put something up like that, we can get copyright struck.
I get it.
If it's from
get a
somebody
copyright strike,
and that would be a strike on my channel, which may get me banned for a month.
Okay, it's not copyright material, but anyway, that's fine. But I think you could just like Google it and just if you want to see it because it just really the way this woman is so self-righteous and I don't know, it's something worth seeing in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I see your point. And look, all reality, I think that was an extremely good topic for a woman to bring up because that's something that we chaps find harder to talk about, of course. Because if we do, we're accused of being male chauvinist pigs and all this kind of stuff. So,
Well, you guys are awful. I mean, terrible, the white man.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, base. We're going to be even worse. We're going to reach more levels of bigotry each year. We're going to reach more levels. I did have a look.
We look for ways to come after you guys.
Or reality, Royal Biscuits is making a good suggestion. You should put it up in the Discord because you can put it up in the Discord.
Sure, I'll do that.
I'm Duke. By the way, and this is for the person in chat. It's no longer set as child friendly, so the comments do work now. I don't know what that was about. Maybe it's the ghost of Epstein trying to have one last laugh at my expense. I don't know.
No, listen. All my videos, William, are set to not child friendly, and that's the way to go if you're doing content which is not designed for children. Don't always just say no. This is not for children.
Yeah.
Right. Just a safe bet.
Because it's not. We talk about things which are not suitable for children. We talk about things for adults, basically.
I mean, Epstein especially famously unchild friendly.
Right.
I mean, technically, if a child does come across this, it could actually save their lives. To be absolutely honest, for future references.
Look, young Timmy. This is how pattern recognition works.
Listen, guys. I saw something where it amazed me. Apparently, a Mexican ambassador who was in Epstein's circle, as was Mandelson, for example, the Labour politician, raped an 11-year-old. For God's sake! And in fact, that's in the most recently released Epstein file.
And got her pregnant as well. At 11.
Oh my God!
Why would Putin do this?
Yeah. Why would Putin?
Yes, it's Putin. According to Nigel Farage, Epstein. And like everybody knows that Epstein was mostly. I mean, I'm sure he gave information to the CIA. I'm sure he gave information to MI6 when it suited him.
It seems to have
but
been.
he was mostly a Mossad asset.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly. This is why he constantly talks in his private emails about goyim, i.e. non-Jewish cow. But yeah, and I mean, there are nicer words that Jews can use for non-Jews. Goyim is like the Jewish equivalent of the N-word, basically.
What Gentile?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's one.
You can say Gentile, which is not particularly a bad term, whereas Goyim certainly is, and that was Epstein and his buddies' preferred term for all the rest of us.
Yeah, I mean,
so I posted the link in the general tab for in the Discord.
That's fine. That's fine, Aubrey Ali. People can look at it at their leisure. That's fine.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just can't put up links. I don't know what they are on this channel because it will just get the channel banned for a month, and I don't want that to happen.
Right.
So, but yeah.
Thank you, Royal Biscuits. That was a good idea to do that.
But yeah, no, that's what the Discord's for, Aubrey. You'll find there's channels where you can put anything on that Discord, pretty much. Although it's not a free speech platform, you have to be careful what you say on Discord. People can get their Discords taken away. But anyway, leaving all that aside.
Can I just one last thing? Just let's remember that the little old woman that was arrested here for peacefully praying quietly outside of an abortion clinic gets arrested.
Yeah, that's happened in Britain. We've also had Christians arrested for praying silently outside mosques in Britain. Silently, mark you, not saying a word.
Right.
So,
and then
you can get arrested, but it's a free country, supposedly. Yeah.
Look at what the left has done now in Minneapolis. That's a whole nother topic we won't get into. But the comparison between how one side handles things and the other. Just don't understand.
Raw Biscuits makes a good point, having looked at your link, Aubrey Ali. But anyway.
That's right.
There's always one man willing to go there, Raw Biscuits.
Right, but
I've seen this.
I always say that feminists are just like very homely. Let's be nice and say homely women that haven't, learned how to haven't experienced. Yeah, you get it.
Guys, I thought for the last bit of the stream we would talk about Nigel Farage and reform a little bit. And I have noticed that the guy at the by-election, the guy who has had lots of publicity, Farian and Mercy will know. I'm sorry, Farian?
Matt Goodwin?
Yes, Matt Goodwin, that's the guy.
Yeah.
Matt Goodwin is now appealing for ethnic minorities to vote reform in that seat.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure that
I don't know, guys. Some of you will have seen Morgoth's tweet that I put up in the Reform channel on our Discord.
Is this about the Peter Thiel stuff?
Yeah, I agree with Morgoth. Do most basic Reform voters know what reform really stands for?
No,
I'm absolutely certain they don't. They just don't. No. Yes, Alphabet Cat, we're talking about Matt Goodwin. And he is appealing for ethnic minorities to vote reform in that by-election. I'm sorry. I haven't... Nigel Farage has done nothing in the last 6 months to make me go more support for reform. And I don't support reform at all now. I just don't.
But did you see they're going to save the pubs by reducing the tax on pints by a whole 5p?
Oh, that will make the difference. Yeah, of course it will.
Yeah.
We're saved.
It's funny because I remember Rishi Sunak doing this. He reduced the duty on pints by 10p. And I remember Nigel Farage at the time mocking it as the ridiculous virtue signal it was. Because, oh yeah, my pint's 10p cheaper. Go, okay, that changes everything. And then
Yeah.
he comes out with his
Big
policy.
game changer.
His
I've-
policy,
I've-
5B.
I've just dropped another X link in the Discord of a Muslim sort of
Yeah,
cheering
I saw
on
that.
the fact that that Muslims now essentially control reform. I mean, arguably they have since Zir got in charge.
Yeah.
I mean, so the whole. I mean, I expect more from Matt Goodwin, to be honest. I don't know. If you assume that reform is what the majority think it is, I don't know why they're going after every vote like it's going to happen.
Yeah. They're playing the Tory sort of game of, well, you're not going to vote for Labour, so we can tack to the left.
Yeah, and I don't know. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of this game. Sick of it.
I also have my suspicions about Matt Goodwin, because he was saying quite good stuff for quite a while. Like, he was sort of talking about ethnic replacement and stuff, unlike Nigel Farage. And my thing is, like, well, if he's genuine about that, why hasn't he been purged? Because Reform have purged lots of people for saying similar stuff, and that just I'm just suspicious of that.
Well, I mean,
but Bo Dade, who's been on this channel a couple of times, the history bro, he was purged. So was Dan, who's another good guy at the Lotus Eaters. He was purged.
A whole load of council people and stuff. I
wish we had Mitch on here at the moment, because I know Mitch was struggling a bit with his Reform membership at the moment. So
it doesn't help also that in his past, Matt Goodwin wrote a book on how to infiltrate the far right and destroy it, and he is doing exactly what he said you should do in his book.
Interesting.
Just like, it doesn't help that.
Well,
sorry, go
no,
ahead.
Carol. I just said I was disappointed with Sargon when he was talking about that election that Matt Goodwin's in against. Is it Nick Mulvey? Is it? I forget his name. The advanced guy. He's been on the Lotus Eaters podcast a lot, and he put Matt Goodwin above him, and I was like, I'm not so sure you want to be saying that.
Yeah,
but where the Lotus Eaters get a bit of a pass for me, Mercy, and is that there are some good guys on there. Like Bo's a good guy, Dan's a good guy, and a few of the others are actually that they realise what's going on with reform, and they fairly often they do call it out.
Yeah, they don't get right all. Well, and Duke, I'm perhaps the biggest Sargonaut on this panel, but I'm not afraid to say when he does something I don't like. Yeah. It's like any one of my heroes. If they do something wrong, I'll call it out. It doesn't mean I hate them all of a sudden.
Yeah, because there's Sargon mentioned the point about splitting the vote, and I have no tolerance for that, because in 2024, Reform split the vote in loads of places, which they had no chance of winning, and that's allowed Labour to get in. So they don't get to have it all their way all the time, where they get to split the vote when they want, and then when it's someone else doing it to them, oh, how dare you? You'll let Labour win. That's you can't.
100. Sorry, I totally agree with that. And just to Mercian's point, I think Sargon's come a very long way in the last 3 years. He really has.
He'd say so himself as well.
Yeah, he has. I tell you, 3 years ago, I had no time for Carl Benjamin. But he these days he is a lot more sensible. He went on to that Gold Blokes show after Steve Laws and basically defended Steve Laws, which I was most impressed with. I thought that was good.
I mean, I know it was Horace who reminded me right back along. I don't know how old some of you are. Well, I know Iron Duke's the oldest one here, but Tharian and Mercian. I remember Sargon years and years ago when he.
Girl her age.
Yeah, I remember Sargon years and years ago when he had an argument with white nationalists. he like started sending them and sharing like interracial porn. And I remember even then,
Oh, I remember that. That was
yeah,
so cringe.
I
That
remember
was so cringe.
even then, because when I was still, that was before I was like, I remember even then like putting comments and messaging saying like, this isn't it, this is awful, this is like, and I think he ended up like, I think deleting and then retracting a lot of that and then never talked about it again. So probably he will not be happy I'm bringing this up, but there are things that he's done. But this was around about the same time he did the whole Jess Phillips joke as well, which was also like because I remember watching that live.
Oh,
when
his schoolboy joke. Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, that one. Which
Can
I think
I ask, guys? Can I? I'm sorry to interrupt you, Roy.
yeah.
Can I ask guys to address Geralt of Rivia here? He says, "Keep believing in the grifter, Sargoy. His politics stay where it is profitable." I see what you're saying there, Geralt of Rivia. I do, and you know what? Sargon's running a business. He is. But I have to say, if you look at what he says now to what he said 3 years ago, which is what William was just talking about, he has come a long way. And even if you don't particularly like Carl Benjamin himself, he has some excellent guys on the Lotus Eaters who are certainly to the right of him, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, Dan Tubbs is perhaps outside of Sargon himself. Dan Tubbs is my favourite Lotus Eater. Just put that out there.
The two of them do their weekly chats about some topic.
Yeah, same. I really like Dan. I also like Bo because he's been on.
I like Bo as well,
but I really like Dan. Dan's excellent. Yep.
And also, like I do cut like this. Sargon says stuff I don't agree with, but we do have to remember that he is he's got a lot more of the eye of Ofcom stuff on him, and it's not just like a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
That's just him. He's got employees as well. So you do have to, I've seen him doing streams and stuff where someone will like say comments about, why aren't you just saying this? And he's gone, look, I am in Britain. I cannot just say these things, okay? Because he can't. And you can't, this is just the world we live in.
Can I just ask Ovid Vivid in the chat here? Because he may be in the wrong chat, watching the wrong stream. What do you describe as a white supremacist? Because, I'm not a white supremacist. I think white people are the best, but I'm not a white supremacist, I'm a white supremacist in white countries, but that's not the same thing at all, So I'm just asking you, Ovid Vivid. But, there you go.
But I've always respected Sargon. Sargon is. I followed Sargon's political journey. That's what I like about it. It's so genuine because I've got to see it from his. Because I was an early subscriber back in, I think it's 2013. Like I subscribed to his channel and I've basically been following his political journey. And yeah.
I think the first video I watched of his, he did a reading of Machiavelli's The Prince on that was it a symposium or what was that called? That the other YouTube channel he had. Yeah.
I'm just saying. I followed Sargon. I don't know, probably 7, 8 years ago when Sargon was just basically Gamergate, really. Then I lost him because he went through that very strange stage when he started the liberalists and was doing all sorts of stupid things with some pretty stupid people, it has to be said. But the last 3 years, Sargon has come on a long way. He's still to the left of me, for sure, but he's come on a fair bit, and I'm not going to lie about people. Yeah. And he has some good people working for him. He does. And I'll tell you something else I like about Sargon is that he's not like Nigel Farage. He doesn't fuck everybody who becomes quite well known. people around Sargon can actually get on and go on and do stuff on their own, which is, quite kind of the opposite to Farage, who is so petty that instead of getting behind Rupert Lowe's rape gang inquiry, Rupert Lowe and Restore Britain's rape gang inquiry, instead of getting behind that, which would be immensely popular with the reform base, he just ignores it, basically, and then comes out with shit like, oh, yeah, Epstein might have been working for Putin. Yeah, all right, pull the other one. It's got bells on, mate.
I mean, one thing I would say about Sargon, and I don't really watch him as much nowadays, but what I would say with him is he could have jumped on the grift of criticizing woke rights when trigonometry and all those retards joined in as well. Yeah. He could have done all that, and he didn't. So,
because he had been friendly with some of them before that.
Yeah,
like James Lindsay.
Yeah, James Lindsay, and then like others in New Culture Forum. He could have. I think even Spiked magazine, he was somewhat friendly with some of those guys over there. So he could have joined that whole like crowd, and he didn't. I think the reason he didn't is a bit like there are people like maybe I wouldn't say compare him to Tim Pool, but like Tim Pool and Alex Jones, if you notice, they will sort of walk the line between them different aspects of like the right, like nationalist types, and then like Sivnat, what we would call like Sivnat, or just like normie conservative types. He walks that line.
One of his weaknesses, I think, although it's not really a weakness, it's a it's a good trait. He always seems to give everyone goodwill, like trust them. He's very sort of polite to everyone. Like he had that Michaela schoolwoman on. He did an interview with her just the other day, and very polite to her, even though this hag bitch, throughout the whole thing was just dripping with hatred of the English people. But he just always tries to be polite. That's his thing.
I'm just going to reply to a couple of people in the chat. I occasionally, very occasionally, join one of Mr. D's spaces on X, partly because there's other people on there who I like. Some of the American dudes who I do like get on there occasionally. So yeah, I don't disagree with what Rod Three Trees says there and what Raw Biscuit said. I have issues with AA sometimes because AA was anti-Brexit. He voted for the most evil British politician ever, Tony Blair, and he still likes Tony Blair. It's pretty fucking obvious, and I do think that to some degree, Mr. D or John D kept AA on point. And it was when he stopped being willing to do that AA has drifted into this position where he's, I don't know what he supports anymore, except he really doesn't like Zionism. That's about the only thing I can work out from him. Which is fine. I don't support Zionism evil either, but also I don't think it's the main thing in Britain. It might be in America, but it isn't in Britain.
Well, it is with with the news story at the moment. It might be okay. Anyway,
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about, William. But I did just also want to mention this Andrew Bridgen letter that he posted, and you can go to British Army Paz's channel on YouTube and check this out. It's one of the guys I follow, basically because he used to be a British soldier, as did I. And he's got this recent video he did yesterday about Andrew Bridgen, who has published this letter, which is basically accusing Starmer and the Labour Party and people like Mandelson, etc., with a big scam on the British public and the British taxpayers over this Chagos deal. which is I'm totally against, of course. I don't think any British overseas territory should be given up. But it's basically, he's claiming, Andrew Bridget, the MP, is claiming that this is an enormous scam and a money-making scheme, basically.
I wonder if this has something to do with Trump deciding to okay the deal, because Trump just came out and okayed the deal. And I wonder if it was like, okay, we'll cut you in on it.
Well, I know that apparently Starmer was like on his knees begging Trump to say, yeah, please do this, please, Mr. Trump, please. You know, in best Starmer style, because Starmer has no pride at all, or except when he's doing Ukrainian rent boys, of course. But you know,
which there is a fifth rent boy has been revealed.
Yeah, because he's married and he's a straight guy. Yes, sure he is. Did you see him in that boxing gym and him pretending to punch? Like, honestly, I've been out with really cute girls who punch better than that. But, you know, he's gay. And the Ukrainian rent boys know he's gay. And, you know, but apparently that's no bad thing. Doesn't matter. He's married, pretending to have children. Probably not even his. But yeah, he's a great guy, Starmer. Hates the British people. Talking about the rape gangs in Britain, where hundreds of thousands of little white children and girls have been systematically raped and tortured and humiliated, and you name it. And just said, oh no, I'm not getting on this far right bandwagon, because protecting 11-year-old little white girls is a far right bandwagon. Sure it is.
I wonder what his apology
everybody's
speech.
a victim except for them.
Yeah.
The actual victims.
Yeah, I was about to say, I wonder what his apology speech will be when that full report comes out. Is it March or April? I mean, I wonder if it'll be in the same lines as the Mandelson apology speech.
Well, that's an interesting thing, because obviously Mandelson heavily embedded with Epstein. And then we found out Zelensky also had quite big ties with Epstein. And where do these all boys come from? Ukraine.
Yeah, and also, let's say, Zelensky, Jewish guy, Epstein, Jewish guy, Mandelson, Jewish guy and gay. So yeah, it's not like there aren't connections between some of these people, you know.
Yeah, this is like, it was really, I mean, the most interesting thing, as people pointed out, was how this last email leak, it was really showing just how power's actually working behind the scenes. And you've got all these like just different ethnic groups and power nodes, and they're connecting to one and each other. It's all done through these sort of, you know, I know someone, I'll connect you to him. And like Jeffrey seems to have been quite a central point of it. And all like what we see is really just all a theatre.
He was like a fixer. He was like a point man. I mean, this is the thing, is they make him out to be like this great like Bond villain. He was just like a point man for various different people.
Yeah.
And as I said in my video, I think his job was to basically do low-level blackmailing, getting politicians in, like, you know, getting politicians
100% agree.
You know, and the thing was, when I did the video, I realized, you know, at the end of the day, if you were a politician or a figure, you get yourself blackmailed by this fucking vile creature. If you get yourself in that position, you're as bad as he is. Because
guys, could I just point out, we got 135 viewers at the moment, which is pretty damn good for this channel live. But yeah, listen, you're entirely correct, William. And Epstein was kind of like a honeypot trap, mostly for Mossad, although I'm sure he gave information to the CIA and the MI6 when it sued him, and probably other people. You know,
Yeah, he
French
was working
intelligence,
with Saudis
whatever.
and stuff as well. Yeah.
Yeah, Saudis,
Yeah.
absolutely. I'm sure he did that, but yeah, he was basically a honeypot for Mossad and Israel. Just imagine how useful it would be to be able to blackmail the most rich and powerful men in the world, which were basically the people who were going to Epstein Island, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, and then at the end of the day, you know, Maxwell, Ghislaine Maxwell. Now, her father, Robert Maxwell, who was the owner of the Mirror, was also
given a state funeral by Israel, but also almost certainly killed by Israel because he was trying to make some money.
Yeah, the story is that because of course he mysteriously fell off his boat in I think it was in the Caribbean. Yeah, and he had a little slip and he fell off.
How many people just fall off their boat? It's ridiculous.
But the thing,
it happens.
Yeah, most people can swim though, can't they?
Right. Climb back up the ladder.
He shot himself in the back of the head twice after doing that as well. So
no, you're wrong, William. The way you do that, because this is the way I do it, is you bash him on the head hard with something like an iron wrench, then you chuck him in the water and he's unconscious and he drowns. That's what they did. Of course it is.
They wouldn't even show the body, would they? There was whole thing about, but the story is that he was a Mossad agent as well, Robert Maxwell, or asset.
And he definitely was. There's no doubt of that.
Yeah. That's
why he was given a state funeral in Israel.
But the story was that he ended up trying to blackmail Mossad. So he sort of turned on them because he wanted like a bit of money or something, because he was in financial difficulty. And let's be honest, blackmailing Mossad is probably not a good idea.
It's not a good idea, boys.
No, desperate plan that doesn't seem like it's going to end well.
Yeah. And so, I mean, you don't need to be Sherlock Holmes to figure out what happened there.
So then Ghislaine Maxwell, his daughter, is the closest person to Epstein. And Epstein went from being a Jewish teacher in a fairly average school in New York, fairly average private school in New York, to suddenly being given this really high up job in finances and all that sort of thing.
And he studied physics. He was teaching and he studied under physics, like science.
And yet, if you watch that interview, and this is another thing worth pointing out, William, that interview that it was put out recently and you can find on YouTube, and I ended up watching it accidentally because I was watching some other show that happened to put it on. And it was done by the dude who Trump sacked, Steve Bannon. Thank you, Farron. It was done by Steve Bannon. And Steve Bannon, who, of course, was a big dude in the Trump first administration.
Like the horse maker, really.
Yeah. He was being introduced by Epstein to the former Labour Socialist Prime Minister of Israel. It's like that photograph that's on the Discord, guys, where you've got Peter Mandelson and you've got Nigel Farage and a couple of other people, and the caption for it is "It's a big club and you're not in it."
Yeah. Apparently, the U.S. State Department this evening has removed 34 documents from the recent Epstein file dump. I wonder
why.
And I think there's still about 3 million or something that they didn't release.
Yep.
Yeah, small amount.
Yeah.
It's this was like again, the people are trying to distract from it, trying to turn it into like a left versus right thing. But one thing that's actually clear is that he was talking to everyone, like right and left. Bannon and Noam Chomsky seemed to be big friends of his.
Jewish guys, Arab guys, you name it.
Here's the thing, though. You go to events, right? These big like black tie events and things like that, and people get pictured together. They have photos, and so that can be taken so out of context, because that doesn't mean that they're actually like necessarily.
Hang on though, Aubriella. When someone is shaking hands with a massive grin on his face, I think you could be a little bit.
Disagree with that. I disagree with that. I've been to a lot of black tie events where you don't even really know the people. Like you're smiling. The photographer's going around.
Yeah, but you're a girl, all right, Aubriella.
I'm thinking about like my father's events that he would go to.
Yeah, no, fair
like,
enough.
It's not like you know everybody that's there.
No.
Everybody's in maybe political parties that are different. So it's easy to, yeah.
I mean, hang on a minute, guys. I entirely see what you're saying, Aubriella, right? But first of all, your father's events would have been business events, not politics. All right?
No, he went to a lot of political things too.
All right, related to business, but okay. But the point I'm trying to make to you is if you're a bloke, right? If you go up to somebody who you are not that keen on, you don't necessarily have a big grin on your face, even if you have to shake his hand. You know what I mean?
I still disagree. I mean, the photographers come around and they just say, like, smile.
All right. Maybe it's just me. Like, maybe it's just me. I'm
just saying, like, and I'm not speaking to Trump or Clinton in particular. I'm just saying that I think it's very easy for pictures to be taken. I mean, like, my parents went to events at Mar-a-Lago. I mean, it doesn't mean that they were like, you know,
that's Trump's place, by the way, guys. That's got nothing to do with Epstein. And in fact, I believe Epstein was even banned from that place. But
maybe so. But I'm just saying that you don't vet. Not everybody is vetting that's going to be at the event, and it would be very easy to get.
I mean, I will sort of agree in somewhat with Aubrey. If it was like, say, 40 years ago, like in the 80s, and you had and no one knew who Epstein was, and he turned up at like a party, and he wanted, like, and you were like a politician or something, and you just got like a photo op and everything.
Smile for the photo. Yeah.
I think the problem is, like, let's say when I was running for a local election, let's just say like a random thing, like someone said, "Oh, William, check it. Jeffrey Epstein wants to contact you, and do you want to go to a party?" And you're like, "No." No, thank you. I'm not doing like if you. The thing is, like Mandelson and all these other people, the reason why they're getting the pushback is because they knew he was a convicted paedophile. They knew about all the allegations that were flying around. And let's be honest, Mandelson didn't just have like a photo. He had a photo where he's in his bloody underwear with a girl where her face is redacted. I mean, like, come on, it's sort of beyond the handshake. It's very intimate.
I'm not talking about that kind of situation.
Yeah, it's very intimate sort of affair going on there.
I mean, him. And the pictures isn't what's damning in all this. It's all the communications, like Mandelson telling him about. Oh yeah, here's all the state secrets you might be interested in.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also, guys, look, I'm trying to talk about Nigel Farage going up to Peter Mandelson, outstretched hand, big grin on his face, shaking Peter Mandelson's hand. That's what I'm talking about. Now, are you telling me Nigel Farage didn't know that Mandelson was a shit? Because of course he did. He's a political guy. So it's nonsense to think that Farage didn't know what Mandelson was. He was well known for what he was.
I do have a theory. Sorry, I do have one theory, and that it's Farage was a bit like Elon Musk in that he wanted to go to the parties, but Jeffrey thought he was too gay and didn't give him an invite.
But, you know, I'm not suggesting that Farage had anything much to do with Jeffrey Epstein. Right?
No, he doesn't seem to have.
But he did with Mandelson, who was
Farage
is an scumbag.
Farage is someone I can see who would have wanted to be. He's not a man of honor. He's had affairs and stuff before. I don't think he'd have said no to any invitations.
Farage does respect Blairites, though, doesn't he?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember during COVID that he was giving praises to Tony Blair at the time.
Hang on, guys. Somebody just said, I think it was you, Farrell. he wasn't a man of honor because he's had affairs, right? Would you say Nelson or Wellington were men of honor?
Yeah, I know, but you know what I mean. Farage
Because
isn't.
both of those
isn't
guys
there.
had affairs, I can tell you, all right?
Yeah, but you know,
but they were men
Farage-
of honor as far as I'm concerned. You see, I don't think a bloke having an affair makes him not a man of honor. That's a female view.
Well, no, you're actually breaking a vow that was made before God, but that's okay.
Aubrey Alley, female view of the world. All right. I am not somebody.
I'm not saying they're not honorable men, but but that is a dishonorable thing to do.
Yeah.
Maybe it is,
but ideally. Ideally, they wouldn't. Politically, I don't typically care if somebody has an affair. It doesn't matter to me as long as you're running the country or running the state or whatever. As long as you're doing well in your job, I don't care. It doesn't need to be a part of politics. But good men of character, I wouldn't have an affair.
Guys, we're talking a very high standard here. We're talking Nelson. We're talking Wellington. If you're going to say you can only be a man of honor if you didn't have an affair, then no one has ever been a man of honor. Then
that's not what they said. They weren't saying it exclusionarily, like in a exclusionary way. There,
Farage has always presented himself as like Essex man, family man. That's how he's always presented himself. And so when he has affairs, that breaks that. That was like breaking his honor because that was doing. Wellington and Horatio Nelson were the naval man, military men. That's what they were. If they, the only way that they could break their honor is if they did something which was dishonorable on the battlefield, like killing prisoners or sacking a town or raping, allowing their men to rape, a city that they captured, something like that. It's proportionate to what they represent, which of course none of them did. None of them would allow, but they were known for.
No, William, you need to look at look at Badajoz, for example. But all right.
Why get married then? Why go before God and make a vow if it doesn't matter?
All right. This is complicated.
No, it's not a non-romantic thing.
This is complicated. But let me explain something to you. The Duke of Wellington, before he went to India, promised Kitty Pakenham he would marry her. When he came home and met her, and he'd been in India for years, okay. When he came home and met her again, he said, she's gotten ugly. But he still kept to what he said.
Okay, well.
And bear in mind, the Duke of Wellington, as time comes on, he goes on, becomes like one of the most important men in the world, okay, and certainly in Britain. And his wife liked to make her own dresses. And he didn't want a woman like that. He wanted a woman who would wear the highest fashions. And Kitty Pakenham just wouldn't do that. That wasn't a deal. And I'll be honest, when she was very young, she was quite pretty. But when she was a bit older, she wasn't so much. But Wellington still married her and stayed married to her to the end of his life. Did he have affairs? Yes, he did.
Well, that's a case that is a little bit extreme too. But I would also say too that, both people have to live up to the standard that they agree to in the marriage. I'm not saying that women aren't, I'm critical of women often. You know this.
Yeah, no, I'm not having a go at you.
A woman has to live up to that.
I'm just
and keep herself attractive
and
having sex with her husband and all of it. Right?
Aubrey, this is not aimed at you. This is aimed
I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying then if she's not keeping her end of that, that's
no, nothing to do with it. This is nothing to do with what I'm talking about. What I'm really trying to say to the other men on this stream is that their idea of a man of honor is ridiculous. It's kind of Tolkien-esque.
Well,
I'm sorry, but they don't exist except in Tolkien.
Well, I've never cheated.
My opinion does matter in this, but that's all right.
I've never cheated.
I cheated on my wife. I definitely did. And I didn't love my wife either. I've got to say that I didn't.
What?
But there we go. I even divorced my wife eventually, but only because she was insisting on doing something that I wouldn't agree with. Yeah, guys, I don't have these unrealistic ideas of what men should and shouldn't do. But anyway, and also I'm not a Roman Catholic, so or a particularly religious man. How can I describe this?
But look, okay, let's move on from that.
Yeah,
Point
you
is,
don't
I
need
mean,
to.
the
I
point
get it.
is, like, Farage is hardly, an honourable man, really, is he?
No, I don't think
he's
he
just-
is. And my problem is not that he's ever had an affair.
No, yeah,
It's that,
we're moving on.
when we're doing this rape gang inquiry about little children, like 11, 10-year-old girls, he is such a pathetic individual that he can't put that thing about Rupert Lowe aside and just at least support that, because how's that not good? What they're doing?
I remember
That's
James
my point.
James McMurdoch, when he was still in the party, he supported. It might have been the rape gang. Something. It was something that Rupert Lowe was doing, and he, of course, gets the purge.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of the reason I don't trust the Reform Party, and I get why people are like, "Oh, I'll vote for Reform and the best we got." I've said this thousands of times. I just don't see them being the saviours, much to other people's chagrin, I think. But that's a different story.
They're Conservative Party Mark II, Mercy, and as far as I'm concerned, so-called Conservative Party.
It's the literal Boris cabinet. It's going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. Someone said Farage has cheated on Britain. See, I think that's more important than cheating on his wife. Yeah, if he cheated on his wife, I might forgive him, depending on what his wife was like, of course. But I might forgive him. But cheating on Britain, nah. Not when he's claiming
Marriages
that he's
are so complicated.
Yeah,
Marriages are so complicated, and it's very, very difficult to really fairly judge anybody. Honestly, but I think ideally it's nice to. But I just put a post on here, or comment. I mean, that to be fair, marriages back then, when you were talking about the elites, right? The social elites, those were often arranged for reasons that weren't based on love.
Not true in Wellington's case. I don't think it was true in Nelson's case either. But whatever. And as far as I'm concerned, Nelson and Wellington are the two greatest British heroes ever, really.
And I'm not taking away from that.
No, I'm not saying you are. But listen, how faithful they were to their marital vows are very much secondary as far as I'm concerned about that stuff. And I think if right-wing people today try and say that's the big deal, that's a feminine idea of things.
Duke.
And I'm not a girl. Sorry.
I was also specifically talking in that regard about him and Epstein.
Yeah,
someone
fair enough. Apparently, I found a woman with bigger tits.
That's probably true. Oh.
That's actually not true. The love of my life had slightly smaller tits than my wife, my ex-wife, I should say. But on the other hand, they were better tits, which is a different story. But anyway, whatever.
Glad.
And I shouldn't really even be talking about such things
Not
on a stream,
No.
because
No,
everyone on the right, we all believe in white Sharia, don't we? Apparently, sometimes. Sorry, I don't believe in white Sharia. Never have. But whatever. Yeah, I don't know, guys. I'm just trying to be realistic here. If you can find a bigger British and English hero than Nelson, you won't. If you can find a second biggest British and English hero than the Duke of Wellington, you won't. And I'm sorry, men are men.
I just don't think that's you have to take it to that extreme. I don't think anybody's saying that they're not honorable men that have done amazing things for their country. I don't think anybody's saying that, but I'm just saying, ideally, yeah, it'd be great for you to be committed.
Well,
also, you said like they were separated for 7 years. I mean, how many men are gonna like?
Well, I never said 7 years. I said several years.
Several. Okay.
Well, speaking as the engineered brain that I am, I'll give you Isambard Kingdom Brunel as a lofty man too, or George Stevenson or someone like that.
Well, Brunel, yeah, good guy. Stevenson, good guy. Yeah.
You have said to me many times though about a woman, if she cheats, no matter what,
you have to leave her. Yeah, you have to leave her. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I mean, you judge them very readily.
Oh yeah, no. If a woman cheats, you must leave her immediately because she will never change.
Right. Okay, but
not the same. It's not the same for guys. It's not. No, it's not the same for guys. But it's just not the same for guys.
Well, I would kill my husband if he cheated on me. So, and I
don't do that because don't do that.
No,
don't do that. You go to prison for life, or you go to prison for life. Don't
that's why they shouldn't do it.
Well, I mean, your state might be okay with that, Aubrey. You know, there are people who've, you know, they call them
and women almost never get the death penalty unless you do something really vile. Like women always get a lesser sentence than men. There are differences between the sexes, okay? There are. And women always get lower sentences than men for the same crime. Very few women are executed, relatively speaking, whereas many more men are. But on the other hand, things are different for different sexes. And I'm sorry. If your woman cheats on you, leave her immediately. Don't do anything bad to her. Just leave. Because she will never change. But on the other hand, can men do that and it doesn't end everything? Yeah, they can. Sure. Because the sex is not as important to blokes as it is to women. It just isn't.
I really don't think it's too much. Like if you forget Wellington stuff. We're talking about the ordinary man or woman. I really don't think being loyal to your partner is that big of an ask.
No, I thank you.
I think that's a feminine thing, Varian. I really do.
No.
I mean, never. You know, this is the Romans wrote about the Germans, the ancient Germans, saying, "Yeah, it's weird how they're all loyal to their wives." This is ancient tradition.
I don't.
I mean, Duke, you're all about like chivalry and about like so it just is kind of a.
Yeah, I am. I am, and
being loyal
and
to
protecting little girls and all that. Yeah, totally. But you know what? If you occasionally cheat on your wife, I don't think it's the end of the world.
Well,
if you're a bloke, I don't. I mean, don't get me wrong, right? Don't get me wrong here. Let me explain something which I don't think you guys are quite getting. If you're deeply in love with your wife, right, and you think she's the greatest thing since sliced bread, then it's okay. Like when I was with the love of my life, I never even looked at another woman. Never once. Never even looked at her. But I was deeply in love with that girl. And I thought she was the greatest thing in the entire history of the universe. But that's not true of many marriages. Come on, guys.
Right, but I'd leave that marriage rather than cheat.
Thank you.
Well, see, I don't think that's necessarily the best way to do it. But whatever. we can argue about that.
You guys, can I say something real quick before we finish the show though? In Minneapolis, you know, the whole crazy thing with ICE, people are driving by and these people on the left, the protesters, are throwing it starts with a D, a sex toy object, cars.
Dildos.
Okay, I didn't know if I should say it on the show, but they're throwing them at cars just driving through. These people are absolutely nuts, you guys.
Yeah, but you can be sure these leftists will have large supplies of dildos.
Oh God.
Wow. You can be sure of that.
But I think also too, like the hypocrisy. I mean, it's kids. They're taking kids to these protests, and they're throwing these things and hitting cars. And oh my God!
Look, anyone who takes children or even dogs to protests, I would just jowl them for doing that. You've taken children to a protest, or you've taken a dog to a protest.
Right. You don't know that violence isn't going to break out. But they were letting some schools out to take the children to these protests.
Well, you know, the thing they want more than anything else is a dead child.
Right.
Yeah, of course.
And there we go, full circle back to my topic.
Yeah, 100%. Someone's saying I'm espousing Henry VIII's philosophy on marriage. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I've only been married once in my life, and I divorced her. She didn't divorce me.
The second one, though, you would have beheaded.
Yes.
No, absolutely not. No, I wouldn't have done that. No, I'm sorry, Freya. I would never have done that.
It was a joke. We know you loved her. It was a joke.
It's a Henry VIII.
I wouldn't have beheaded either of them. Not at all. Not for a second. I just wanted them to go and have a nice life.
In trouble with you. You ban me every other day from Discord.
So. Well, you know, Anne Boleyn
never
did cheat.
Banned you from Discord. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but it's okay.
I mean,
Anne Boleyn. I did once, didn't I? For about 6 hours.
Right. And you did apologize.
I mean, Anne Boleyn did allegedly cheat on Henry VIII, though, not Duke. So, I mean, she had it coming. She'd had it coming, didn't she?
No. Sharon, you know what? I have never looked very deeply into the 6 wives of Henry VIII. You know why? Because it's about a feminine subject, and I'm not interested in it. I'm just not interested in it. It's feminine bullshit. I don't care.
Well, again, like the kings, nobles, and stuff. That was all political marriages. None of that really is the same for normal people.
Yeah, no, for sure. But what I was trying to point out to you guys earlier, and I don't know if you got it, Wellington married for love originally, but he made a stupid promise. All right?
Well, maybe he could have come home and said, "Listen, I break it off. Don't marry her."
You've changed, and she has.
Right.
But he didn't.
I'm sorry, I don't find you attractive at all anymore, sweetheart.
Yeah, but the honourable thing to do was to stick to his promise. And you have to remember, you see, you have to remember that Pakenham, who was Kitty's elder brother, because her dad was dead, he was the head of the family. And when Wellington originally proposed to Kitty Pakenham when she was like, I don't know, 19 or something. She was quite a pretty girl, but the guy responsible for saying yes or no was her elder brother, which was Pakenham. And Pakenham said no. He said, you don't have enough money. You don't have enough of a political clout. And no, you cannot marry my sister. So Wellington got very pissed off and turned around and said, well, she has my word that I will marry her. And then he went off to India where he did make his fortune.
So it became a matter of pride.
Yeah, and when he came back, he'd already said he was going to marry this girl. But he got back and he wrote to one of his friends. He said, by God, she's got ugly while I've been away.
Yeah, so that's the problem, and the logic though is that it would have been better for him to break it off before that, because breaking that promise is a lot less of an issue than breaking a vow. You see,
No, I
I
think
don't
it,
know.
Oh,
I don't
yeah,
think
sure,
it
it's
should have
really
been.
serious. So
Hang on,
I think
now.
there's a way.
Woodpit
Yeah, yeah.
is asking me a question here, and he is talking about the Earl of Uxbridge. The Earl of Uxbridge eloped with one of Wellington's female relatives, and so Wellington didn't like him very much. But an eloption was different. That was not doing what Wellington did. It would have been as if Wellington had just gone off and married Kitty Pakenham anyway, when her brother said no. So that's different. Okay.
But Alberti, you brought up the Minneapolis riot.
Yes.
Would you like some British news on that?
Yes, please, Mercian.
Right, okay. So in our top 100 singles at the moment, Bruce Springsteen's Streets of Minneapolis has made the top 100, which baffles me. Like,
It's
who
horrible. I know. It's horrible.
do you and you confirm? Do you know this song I'm talking about?
No.
You know, The
Right, so-
Streets of Philadelphia, his main song, right? That's a big song by Springsteen. This is
I
his
don't know
remake.
Springsteen well.
Or he did a track for Tom Hanks's AIDS film. I forget what it's called. Anyway, he's done another track called "The Streets of Minneapolis," where he's basically done a song about it, and it's as grim as you think, and it's in our top 100 as we speak.
It's so
Brilliant.
Yep, yeah, Woodpit. It's the Springsteen "Is the Born in the USA" go.
Guys, I've got to answer Mitch's question in the chat. Mitch is one of the best guys who come on our stream regularly. Sad he wasn't on this
I do
evening.
love Mitch. He's a good guy.
And he's saying, my favorite quote about Wellington from Bernard Cornwall. Okay, so Bernard Cornwall is a historical fiction writer. Is Wellington loved all women except his wife, whom he detested. Now, this is just not true, Mitch. Okay. When Kitty Pakenham died, Wellington was at her bedside, and she was feeling on his wrist because she gave him a bracelet when they first got married, and she found it. He was still wearing it.
Oh, I'm just gonna cry. I'm gonna cry. It's so sweet. Sarcasm.
Kitty Pakenham was dying, and Wellington, he was absolutely a man of the world. He had sex with some of the beautiful women in the world at that time. But when Kitty Pakenham died, and Wellington was at her bedside, and she looked for this bracelet she'd given him when they first got married, he had it on.
Oh, that is sweet. And like you said, the Royal Biscuit says, was he wearing it when he was having his,
Maybe he was, but you know what? Wellington was many things, but he wasn't an arsehole, except to some of his soldiers when they annoyed him. Then he was. But yeah, it's Wellington. I don't think he detested his wife at all. I think he regretted marrying her. Wellington wanted some great grand lady, and Kitty Pakenham wasn't that at all. But whatever. All right, guys, we've been going almost for 3 hours, so we should probably start to wind this up now. Anything anybody else wants to say about, I don't know, being faithful to wives or being overly feminine or anything like that?
I think we've said it.
Yeah, I think so too. Thank you for having me on.
You're always most welcome, Aubrey. You've been on my channel for a long time. But anyway, let's have a look at these entropy chats. We got a couple. Rod Free Trees for $15 US. Thank you very much, Rod Free Trees. What do you gents think of the Woodlander initiative? I like Woodlander. I think he's a pretty good dude, and I think his initiative is pretty good. But I will ask Tharium and Mercian and Aubrey Alley if he knows.
Is he the
anything
guy
about-
who? Is he the guy who? He's like built his little like cabin in the woods, and it's like if you
Yes.
had if
in
no one
Britain,
reports
yeah,
it
in
for,
England,
if no one reports it or something, if you're not moved off for like 5 years or something, it's yours.
Oh, based.
Is that it?
Well,
Like,
I think he bought it actually. I think he actually
Oh,
owns
right, well.
it.
Right. I think there is some sort of law. I think it was him talking about it. Yeah, he might have bought it, but I think there is some sort of thing where if you build something and if you inhabit it for like 5 or 10 years and no one sort of moves you off, it basically then you have a right to it legally.
But I don't think that's what he did. I think
Yeah.
he does own his land. Is all I'm trying to say.
This might be
He's got-
this was
he's-
probably
he's-
someone else who was doing
Yeah,
this
it
then.
might be. This is a guy with a beard, and he's got a small holding, and he's got chickens and all this kind of stuff.
He's living my dream, except he needs a Subaru Impreza STI and a.
Oh, God.
He needs the right car, Mercy.
Yeah.
And a Russian wife.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's anything to do with squatters' rights. But Woodlander is a good channel on YouTube. I follow him
What's his
on YouTube.
initiative then?
Well, he's trying to get people to start their own small holdings in rural areas.
Yeah.
Which I think is a good idea. I do support that. But I don't think it's anything to do with squatters' rights. I really don't.
No, this was someone else I'm thinking of, yeah.
Yeah. So if you know who Woodlander is, I mean, I like him. He's a good guy. I often watch his streams on YouTube. I follow him on X as well. Good guy. He's one of us as far as I'm concerned.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's not great in Britain, but solar energy is really good for off-grid stuff, though. Like trying to make your national grid run on it, retarded. But if you've got your little place off-grid, yeah, solar's great for that. Have a few solar panels.
Yeah. Yeah, he lives in the woods, and he's built up his place. He's mostly got all mod cons now, I think.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, and his initiative is to get other people to do something similar. Obviously Britain does not have.
Yeah, space.
Alphabet Cat is telling you he's got a Subaru, Mercian.
Did you read my life's manifesto?
There you go. But yeah, no, I like Woodlander. He's a good dude. Obviously, Britain doesn't have the vast amounts of wilderness that you can find in Canada or Australia or the USA or even parts of New Zealand because it has such a small population. But, if you can get yourself a small holding somewhere in the countryside and you can feed yourself and your family, that's going to be an advantage when the collapse happens. If it doesn't.
It is tricky, though, if you want to live really out in the wilderness. Like you can survive, but it is tricky. And there's like one of the problems is unless you've got some sort of online work you can do to make money, your economic opportunities are really limited. That's one of the problems with that.
And unless you can work online, as you say, Farron, that's a good point. I remember talking to one of our Scottish dudes on the Discord a year or two ago now, who comes from the Outer Hebrides. And you can live in the Outer Hebrides, and if you've got some sort of online work, you can do it from there. But if you're looking at subsistence, which, sometimes if you're looking at the collapse of civilization, that's what you're looking at. You can do that there because you can grow potatoes and certain other crops, and you can go fishing, and so subsistence is possible even in those sorts of places.
That reminds me, there was a Big Brother-esque sort of reality show where families went to live in the Outer Hebrides for a year. I forget the name of it, but it just
How
flooded
did they
back.
do?
Well, it just entered my head. It was like that was a thing in the 2000s, like that. When that reality craze was happening.
We had the same thing in Australia, Mercian, whereby you would get couples or families who would say, "Yeah, we'll go and live as settlers in 1805 in New South Wales," and they would literally have to build their own cabin and all this kind of stuff, and then plant stuff and wear the same clothes as the guys did. And that, I thought they were kind of cool. Actually, I thought they were all right, because most of them,
2000.
Most of them succeeded.
Yeah. I'm gonna drop a WikiLeaks link to this reality show. It's called Castaway 2000. I guess it was aired in the 2000. Oh God, I'm old. I remember.
Mate,
I'm older than you. So.
I remember the 1980s, mate. So
No, I mean the idea of the year 2000 was like 26 years ago now. It's like it blows your mind. But yeah, I remember it just came flooding back. But yeah, if anyone's interested in that reality, I've put the wiki link in the Discord in general.
Mate, the last time I was happy was 2003. So there you go.
My birthday is on Friday, and I've got to say that honestly, time goes by so much faster as you get older, doesn't it? Don't you guys think it does? Like the school year when you're a kid seems like it takes forever to get through. And now it's just like, really? I thought we were still on 2004 or 24.
Aubrey Alley is 35 again, by the way.
27.
27. I'm sorry.
We said 27.
27, sorry.
Well, the other meme is 1980 was always 20 years ago.
Yes, right. Well, thank you guys for the happy birthday, too. That's very sweet.
I've got to say, happy birthday, Aubrey. I've got to say that I remember the Falklands War like it was yesterday. Like 1982. I remember it really well. It's just funny.
I don't know if I can remember much from the 80s. I suppose I can remember Post and Pat and Thomas the Tank Engine. So
yeah, I mean, you were a little kid in the 80s.
Yeah.
You would have been real small, Mercy, and I was not. I joined the army in 1983, so I was 17 in 1982. So,
Mercy and I went down the path of old childhood memories, and we were talking about different cartoons that we used to watch, and that was kind of fun. Looking back at those.
If anyone's interested, my child cartoon of choice was SWAT Cats, because I was a weird kid. If anyone remembers that.
No, I don't remember that. I remember Top Cat. I remember Top Cat.
I'll explain SWAT Cats. I mean, if you were my age, you might have been interested in it. So it's an humanoid cats.
You mean anthropomorphic, mate?
Yeah, that's the one. The humanized cats that saved Mega Cat City from all sorts of evil with their sort of F-14 inspired jet called the Turbo Cat, and I loved it.
I don't remember that at all, man.
It wasn't a very big cartoon.
I remember Bill and Ben the Flower Pot Man.
Did they save the day in some sort of super jet?
No. They had a sunflower type thing in a flower pot, and that was called Weed. And Bill and Ben the Flower Pot Men were literally made out of flower pots.
They were puppets, weren't they? Yeah.
Yeah, they were all puppets. And yeah, I remember that.
They I don't.
And the
They didn't
magic
do any.
roundabout. I remember the magic roundabout with Dougal the dog.
Yeah, there were no F-14s in Iron Duke's cartoons.
No,
I loved DuckTales. Do you guys remember DuckTales?
I do. Yeah,
Yeah, that was. I loved that.
that was pretty cool. Starry, man,
Yeah.
if you like to add.
Well, for me, it was Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll tell you the other one I remember was the Herbs, where there was Leo the lion, and they were all of the creatures in this were herbs.
Right.
They're what?
They were
Herbs?
herbs.
What's a
Yeah,
what's a herb?
What you Americans call herbs?
You mean
yeah.
seasonings? It was
Like
about
rosemary?
like parsley and stuff.
Parsley the lion.
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
and
Oh,
I've
wow.
seen that.
The lion. Thank you,
That's
Marcia.
exciting.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
Parsley was the lion. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Marcia.
So it wasn't about herbs. They were named after herbs, you're saying.
Well, no, they kind of were herbs, but all right, it doesn't matter.
Oh, they're like plant creatures, aren't they? Okay.
Yeah.
Iron Duke was over the engine your sort of time as well, or was that a bit later?
Who? Ivor the Engine was a thing. Thomas the Tank Engine was a big thing. Tom and Jerry, like the old Tom and Jerry's, were the
I
thing.
remember that. Yeah, that was. I had that as well. Yeah.
That's old school. Hey, Duke, I'm gonna send though real quick the video of Jasper singing Happy Birthday, and I'm just gonna put that in your link here. So
okay. That I will play because we won't get copyright struck.
This is my dog, you guys, that I lost a year ago. But every birthday to everyone I send this video because it's classic Jasper. So I'm finding the link for it here.
Okay, no. Jasper was one of the keenest brains in dogdom, and if you are a 101 Dalmatians Dodie Smith fan, you will get that reference. And Jasper really was one of the keenest brains in dogdom, and he was a 16-year-old dog, I think, or reality. Which is a damned old dog, but he was.
Yeah, he's for a dog. That's a grand old age for a dog.
Yeah, he wasn't a little dog. He was like a big, medium-sized dog.
Yeah. I mean, the bigger the dogs, usually they don't live as long normally.
Yes, absolutely. The oldest dog ever was Jack Russell, who was 21, I think. That was the oldest dog there's ever been.
Yeah, I mean, like you said earlier, and Jack Russell, that's quite a modern breed of dog, and it doesn't have that inbreeding problem.
Yeah. The Kennel Club refused to accept them for a long time, and that's why they're such good dogs, and they don't have loads of health issues or anything, because the Kennel Club basically fucks up dog breeds. Really,
one of my neighbors.
They've got a bit better recently, but very recently.
It's like the German Shepherds, what they've done to their spines with all
and their hips, and their
really
hips.
bad. Yeah.
Very, yeah, absolutely.
English Bulldog.
English Bulldog again. Their faces were nowhere near as mashed up as they are now. Same thing with pugs for like women's little dogs, little toy dogs. The Kennel Club, until very recently, was a bad thing, and I don't think they've gone nearly far enough even now. I know that Aubrey Alley's family have always been golden retriever people. Golden retrievers have loads of issues because of inbreeding, because of the fucking Kennel Club, basically.
Yeah, I think
you don't want inbreeding. This is why mutts, who you can go and save from your local rescue society, and you should. Mutts are often the best of all dogs, and they'll live longest because they don't have this inbreeding problem.
I'm not sure if they've dropped it or not, but the sort of stuff with dogs like Dobermans, where you clip their ears and tails.
Yeah, they're
I've
not
never
allowed
liked-
to do that. They're not allowed to
Yeah.
do that anymore. Not in England, anyway.
Yeah, because that's
docking
just
dog
yeah.
tails, clipping their ears, all illegal in England now.
Yeah, and it's
in
just
Britain, I should say.
it's purely just for aesthetics. Like,
Well,
yeah, I'd never like that.
Well, don't they still lock tails in Ireland? I mean, my mum used to have
They
this.
might Mercian, but you can't in Britain. It's illegal.
Yeah, no, because I was just thinking, my mum used to have this little Yorkshire Terrier, and I reckon that they lock those tails. I don't know that's genetically supposed to be like that. Yorkshire Terriers, if you've ever seen those.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be like that. Dogs need their tails because they communicate with other dogs that way, you know?
Mm.
Anyway, let me try and... I'll try and put this on the screen.
Yeah.
Probably won't work, but we'll try.
It's just my baby. I miss him.
Yeah, I know.
He only had one song, but he killed it. He killed this song. So
Yeah, no, he was really good, babes. I've heard him sing this. He was
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah. He was awesome.
Hang on, well, I don't understand why I can't do that. Let's see.
But most dog breeds, while you're doing that, all used to have a job. Like every dog breed had a job. Like even a poodle used to be like a ratting dog.
Yeah.
Well, actually, they were water retrievers, Mercian.
Yeah.
Oh, were they? Oh,
Yeah.
Their coats are quite waterproof.
They are.
They're supposed to be pretty brave and smart dogs too. There's like the standard poodles.
Mm-hmm.
But Jasper was we think, I mean, my best guess is German Shepherd Beagle mix, and who knows how many other things. But for a 65-pound dog to live to be 17 was pretty amazing.
All reality, I've got to apologize. I can't find a way of playing.
Okay, that's all right. That's all right.
It really is a good video.
I'll put it in the Discord.
Yeah, put it in the Discord, and I tell you what, I'll try and find a way of playing it next week, maybe.
Oh, thank you.
Someone's saying poodles can be savage. Not true. Dogs are never savage, honestly. They're almost never savage. You get bad dog owners, you don't get bad dogs.
But they can be bravely savage, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Protective.
Oh, hang on. Mercian is helping us out.
Oh,
Yes,
thank you,
yes.
Mercian. He's our computer guy.
You just beat me to it.
Here we go. This is Jasper. Jasper the Good.
Okay, we're gonna sing. Okay,
I'm a terrible singer, you guys. So
birthday to you. Sing. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Big finish. Sing. Good boy. Can you say I love you? Say I love you.
Aww.
thank you guys for bearing
Mercian,
with me.
thank you for that, mate.
Thank
That
you.
was cool. Yeah,
you,
Jaspy was one of the keenest brains in dogdom. He was. And you've only seen a little bit of him. Like, I was lucky enough to know Jaspy a little bit. And yeah, that was a damn good dog. Really good dog.
Thank you guys for listening.
Oh,
When,
come on.
when-
Singer.
Yes. When my brother was first learning to play saxophone and wasn't very good, one of our dogs would go under the chair that he was practicing at and just howl, kind of like that.
That's
And then
so
what-
funny.
And once he got better, she stopped.
Oh, that's hilarious. She was a critic.
Yeah.
She knew good music.
Yeah.
That's funny. Dogs are amazing. They're wonderful, and everybody that is good should have a dog.
I used to like Aubrey's stories that when she was a little girl, she'd be going down the hill on a sled in the snow in the winter, and her dog, who would worry about her, would go and pull her off because this was dangerous. No, you can't do this.
We had like a big toboggan that my parents were on with me, and she would run alongside and grab me and yank, and I'd be like, "No, Mandy, stop!" And she wouldn't stop. She'd grab my arm and just pull me right off that sled every time. A golden retriever. She was awesome.
Yep, you could see she was thinking to herself, "This is dangerous."
Yeah, I was her pup, I guess.
I'm gonna save Aubrey.
Yeah. I'm honored actually. But at the time it was really annoying, but it's quite sweet.
Doggos are good. Doggos are all
Yeah.
good. They really
are. They are.
I love all dogs and a fair number of people. But there's no evil in dogs. You know, there's no evil in dogs. They're just good and kind.
Right.
Anyway, we've been going a very long time this evening. Anything, Tharium or Mercian, you would like to plug?
Not at the moment.
No,
Mercian, plug your channel, mate.
Yeah, you can subscribe to my channel. It's a bit quiet at the moment. I do have future plans. It's not always going to stay quiet. I'm just in a mad place in my life right now. So, but if you'd like to subscribe, there will be content coming on it as soon as I can.
And that's Mercian 303, isn't it?
That's my X. If you want to follow me on X, but what is my channel? Is it in place I can dump my channel link somewhere, Iron Duke?
Mate, I'll put it in the description under the video.
Oh, excellent.
Anyway.
Excellent.
So,
thank you.
Yeah. And I have before when you've been on. Aubrey Alley, I believe you've got some sort of thing coming up.
Yeah. So this week I just had to get a new computer, so it got delayed a little bit. But yeah, this week I'll put a link in for you to put up. But we're gonna do a trivia day on my show, so it'll be the very first episode.
Yeah. And is it Aubrey Alley?
No. I'll put the link in. Oh, I mean it'll. Yeah. I'll give you. Yeah.
DM me on it on Discord, and I'll put it in.
Okay.
But yeah, that'll be fun. I might even go on that. But yeah, gents, thank you very much. Obviously, William Granville left us a bit earlier, but he's got to get up for work in the morning because we're white guys and we work. So yeah. So
and listen,
William,
if anybody wants to ever come on and be interviewed or talk to me on my show, let me know because I'd like to have people come on.
Yeah, sure, whatever. Depends who you have on there, babes. Really depends who you have on there.
I know.
But yeah, we are going to get a special guest on this stream in a couple of weeks, but I'm not going to say anything else about that.
Stay tuned.
I've got a guess.
I won't reveal it, but it's worth it. It is worth it.
I
How do you know and I don't?
I think you got, well, you could. You just haven't read the Discord, babes.
Oh.
But yeah, I think most people will be fairly impressed, actually. But anyway, we'll see.
It's one of Keir Starmer's rent boys. Sorry,
is it Donald Trump?
Yeah, it's one of the Ukrainian rent boys for Keir Starmer. No, it isn't. Yeah. But anyway, no, it's a good English and British guys, and it is not Brutus. I said a good British.
Okay, stop that.
I do think one of the rent boys would be a good guest to get though on a podcast.
Oh, me too. If we could expose Starmer, yeah.
Shall I put my feelers out?
Yeah.
If we could expose Starmer, I'd absolutely have one of those guys on. Like if he could tell the dirty truth, I'd do that for sure. I would.
So if anyone in the chat knows how to reach one of these Ukrainian rent boys, and let yourself be known.
There are ever more of them. Originally, there were 2. I think now there's at least 3, and I'm sure it's going to go up to like 5. So
There's
yeah.
5.
Oh, 5. Thank you, Darren. Yeah, if you know any of those 5 Ukrainian rent boys who Sir Keir Starmer, two-tier care, was using, let's please get one of them on the stream who can tell us the truth about the wonderful leader of Britain and his gay lifestyle. I think that would be most interesting, to be honest. But yeah, other than that, I used to play us out of a tune, all right? But it used to lag, it used to stop.
That wasn't just me then.
No, everybody. Okay. Sorry. And the thing is, I can load up a music video prior to the stream, but it's a big pain in the ass, and I've got to do it every single time I stream. And it's just too much fucking around me. Because when I put a stream out, I put publicity for it out on, I don't know, 6 Discords and, I don't know, 20 channels on Minds and 2 channels on what's it called? The other thing, you know. Hang on, I'll remember it in a minute. Hang on, I need to remember what this channel's called. People are going to get really annoyed. Gab. 2 channels on Gab and various other places. So yeah, it's a lot of fucking around. It generally takes me an hour or so. Also, by the way, guys, we had a stream yesterday, in case you missed it, which was a what if history stream, and it was what if Britain had joined the American Civil War in 1861 on the side of the Confederacy, of course. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good.
That sounds interesting. I'll have to check that out.
I did send it to you. You obviously just didn't notice.
I'm sorry, I didn't see it.
But
I'll go watch it because it sounds great.
Yeah, you're a girl. You girls.
No. It's a great excuse in your eyes for most things.
Baby, there's differences between men and women. They just
I know there are. I'm sorry.
But yeah, but whatever. But we did do a stream yesterday on that. It was Aaron Hook's idea for a stream, and we had a guest or 2, and it was cool. And I think we got it right. Had Britain joined, it was if the Trent affair in 1861, when the Americans stopped a British merchant ship, the Trent, took off a couple of Confederate diplomats, and Britain got really annoyed, quite rightly, of course. And the Americans eventually paid Britain some money and also let go the 2 Confederate diplomats. But, you know, had that turned into war, there isn't any way that the Federal North were going to win that war. But if you want to know the story, go watch the stream. It was pretty good, I thought. But anyway, yeah. Other than that, we will be back on Wednesday for our next history stream. Not sure what it's going to be. Depends on what ideas people come up with. But yeah, apart from that, I think we're done. Really?
That was a fun show.
Hang on, let me just double check that. Yep, no, that's all done. Yeah, I think we're done, guys. Thank you to my guests, William Grenville, Parium, Mercian, Aureale, and we will see you on Wednesday for our Splendid Isolation history stream. And in the meantime, don't let the bastards grind you down. Good night.
Good night.